lo-fi.
It's coffee anyway.
Coffee.
Well,
It was
hello
invented-
and welcome to Fools and
Coffee.
Flagons.
Hello.
Hi.
So,
Audio
we are
and video
starting
look
just a
and
little
sound
bit
good.
early because we have some announcements to get through. Quite a few announcements, actually.
So many.
We are a D&D campaign made up entirely by me, where the players do dumb things and I try to make sense of them.
Excuse you.
Try. And as I said, we do have a
Shellfish.
fair few announcements to go through tonight, so let's
Everything's
get
made up and the
started.
points don't matter.
And the points don't matter. So to start out, we have changed platforms for donations. We originally had Patreon, but I never really felt like that was a good fit for us. So we have moved to Ko-fi. That is Ko-fi. Link should be down below if you're on YouTube. It'll be in the description. If you're watching us on Twitch, there should be a scroll. If you click that, it'll take you to us. The reason that we swapped to Ko-fi is that it still gives you the benefits of having a membership. You still have the same similar tiers. You'll get the same sort of privileges and Discord and whatnot. But if you are afraid of commitments, because commitments are kind of scary,
Oh, Broadway.
you can just send whatever you would like, $1, $3, whatever that you feel like we deserve.
Your left leg.
Again, all
Or a kidney.
or a kidney.
Kidney.
All
I'll eat that.
donations, all memberships, they all go to making Fools and Flagons better. It makes it stay up longer. Hosting the podcast is not cheap. Having the music that we play throughout the night is also not cheap. Well, it's kind of cheap, but still. Anything to help us out is
They don't know that.
greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated.
All kidneys required, not appreciated.
Donations are never required,
Always
appreciated.
required, never appreciated.
If you would like to see, I'm going to power through this. If you would like to see our past adventures, if you have the time to sit down and watch our lovely visages, and yes, I butchered that word on purpose, you can go watch our previous sessions on YouTube, youtube.com/c/fools&flagons. Or if you just want to listen to us in the car while you're at work doing mindless menial tasks, we're on most major streaming platforms. iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, you name it, we're probably there. We are not on Pandora. They never actually ended up getting back to me whether we were approved or not.
We
Good
opened the
thing,
box
too.
too soon.
Yeah.
Those bitches.
We didn't
So-
respect the forest.
Moving on. The next quasi-big announcement is starting next month, we are going to be starting up a new streaming schedule. We'll still be streaming the campaign every other week or every other weekend, so that's not going to change. We're just going to be adding more to it.
Ooh.
So the plan currently is the first Sunday of every month, we'll have what we're going to call State of the Campaign.
Oh, what is that?
Well,
Stop.
Tez, boy, let me tell you. We're going to take a look at what happened in the last 2 sessions for the month and what we're kind of looking forward to. And we'll also discuss the streams that we've got coming up. You can also see our stream schedule. There should be a calendar link down below in the description on YouTube, or a clickable button. It'll pull up our Google Calendar where we have things planned out, so you can kind of figure out what the hell's going on. At the moment,
Isn't that cool?
At the moment, we don't have any time scheduled because we're still figuring it out. That's why we're waiting till next month to really get this started. With that, every Wednesday, I will be hosting a show that we're going to be calling. I'm flubbing over my words. I'm so nervous. I'm going to be hosting a show called Whiskey Wednesdays.
What is that?
I hate you.
Kill him.
I'm going to mute you.
Kill him now.
The plan for the moment is I will essentially have a glass of whiskey or whatever drink is available at the time if I'm not feeling alcoholic. And the stream will last at least as long as it takes me to finish that drink. Essentially going to be reviewing and discussing various aspects of D&D. Classes, races, subclasses, various rules within the core player handbook, that sort of thing, just to kind of see how you can implement things, how classes should be played, how you can really tweak them and kind of fuck with them. It's going to be an open venue, so we will be in the Discord where anyone can join, pop in, chat. We will be actually able to pay attention to chat and react to your questions there.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, there is another text channel in the Discord where you can submit your ideas for topics for me to review and discuss. It should be, what the hell did I call it?
What is
Whiskey
it?
Wednesday.
Whiskey
Whiskey
Wednesday
Wednesday.
suggestions.
Oh, where's that? Oh, I see
It's in the D&D text channels, Pez.
Haha.
Speaking of Pez, for the moment, on Mondays, maybe every other Monday, this may shift a bit depending on work schedules, we will be having what's called Pez Plays, where our lovely spastic kobold will be playing games of his choosing as Pez.
Well, doesn't that sound interesting?
Furthermore, on alternating Saturdays, so essentially the Saturdays that we are not streaming the weekend of, Metal, you would know him as Kipak, he will be hosting a show called Metallurgy Magic. We
You don't say.
know what the hell he's going to do, but I'm sure it'll be fun.
Magical.
He could
Or it'll
maybe,
get canceled after the first episode.
we'll
Probably.
see.
Dumpster fire.
So, yeah, if you have any questions on that, the Discord is welcome to everyone and anyone who wants to join and chat and just
One of us.
hang out. We do
But-
other things than just D&D. We've been playing Borderlands, Minecraft. You two have been playing the new Lego Star Wars thing. That's been really
Derp
cool.
Rock.
So, with all that being
Copyright.
said, that is the end of my announcements. Does anybody have anything else?
If you donate $10 to the coffee, I will draw you a really, really bad animal.
Oh,
Bribery.
I have my credit card right here.
So, if there's nothing else, do we want to get started?
Let's do it. We.
Okay.
D&D.
Put your
Then
toy away. So,
Ain't that a
shove
toy?
it up your ass.
without further ado, grab your drinks and raise your glasses. It is time for Fools
For
and
fools
Flagons.
and asses.
Hey guys,
Veneer's
it's already
gonna die
half
tonight.
gone. I'm very disappointed.
Bye.
Proudly sponsored by Burger King.
We're not.
We are
No,
not.
we're not.
We are not.
But we would
No.
like to be.
No, no burgers.
Not really.
No
You
beer.
give
I
me
like
a
to
Whopper
burgers.
anytime.
Am I gonna have to mute you fuckers so I can get through this recap?
Yes.
No.
Wow. All right, so we're divided a little bit here tonight. It's gonna be a good session. Becca's asked. Okay, you've already answered her. Okay, cool. Moving on into the recap. The last we played, the Drybell mystery has been solved. The ruined city has been looted, and the party returned to the surface with heavier packs, only to find that their mounts were missing. Pez's expert tracking found their charges a little ways away, having apparently defended themselves from being taken by an unknown group of snatchers. A new pack animal was added to the group, Fukuisaurus, that Kasumi named Shade. The Tempests set off for the nearest city, Lunawind, to revisit old friends and inform the necessary people of Drybell's status. Juniper, Kiwi, Fang, and now Shade made short work of the miles of open terrain between Drybell and Lunawind. Taking a night out under the stars, the Tempests heard the whispering sounds of nature for the first time in days. A relief for most, some people didn't care. As their second day of travel drew to a close, the silhouette of Lunawind crested the horizon, and we now rejoin the Tempests on their journey to the town where they first became a party. So, the sun is dipping low. The last trickling beams of light are highlighting the very tips of Lunawind, far, far out in the distance. Your best guesstimation, you've still got 3, maybe 4 hours of foot travel before you get there. So let us get a little bit of ambiance as the evening comes
Ambience.
to us. You know, just for that snarky comment,
Ambulance.
I am so tempted to play Disturbing Evening Rumbles.
Ooh,
Is that the title of it? Disturbing Evening Rumbles?
Uhas.
Du hast mich.
So, the crackheads are wrapping up.
Why
the
did we name
evening
ourselves
of
that? Dang it!
travel.
We could rename it.
Yeah.
Crickets, low
Rebrand.
rumblings of creatures in the distance as they bed down for the evening can be heard. What are you all doing? Are you continuing travel? Are you going to camp out for the night?
I enjoy the camping.
If you camped out in the evening, you would arrive there mid-morning the next day. Or you could travel through the night for a little while and get there very late. Maybe not be able to find a room.
The stars are pretty tonight.
I do enjoy the camping.
We do have the campsite.
It's fun to watch Kasumi panic.
Excuse me.
I love that she
What do you
even
mean by that?
indignantly unmuted herself to reply to this.
Bet on camping.
Okay, we can camp.
Zon's jumping off.
Okay, so you all dismount. Kasumi, how is your comfort level with the pocket campsite these days? Are you good? Are you still like throwing it and running? Oh, there might be a child involved.
She threw it and ran.
Yeah, he tripped over my charger cord and unplugged my computer. So she, at this point, she's done it a handful of times where she's generally comfortable. She acts really confident when she puts it out, but she's still gonna kind of walk away with haste, just to avoid being caught in the middle of it when it expands.
Well, foxes don't look at explosions.
I was just about to be like, explosions.
How loud is the campsite when it like?
It's like a. Foom.
There's a bit of a foomph, especially as the tents are coming out and like expanding. The fabric snaps tight. But apart from a bit of a rushing wind noise, it's not all that loud.
So, Pez was gonna be a dick and like fire his shotgun at the same time that it explodes, just for like added effect. But I'm not gonna do that.
I will. I'm just kidding.
So are you, or are you letting her? Are you leaving her be?
No,
No.
I'm not gonna freak her out.
Okay. So
And possibly Lunawind.
Kasumi opens a
Yeah.
pouch and tosses it. The campsite, like so many nights out in the open before, 3 tents. The rocks go in a circle. The wood lands. Woof. Campfire lights. Chairs are plopped down. Your campsite is all set.
I wish to plop in front of the fire.
Okay. So without much ado, Vanera just plants herself down in front of the fire. Are you
Yes.
taking a night in shifts? Are you just gonna have a nice chill evening?
I will take first shift.
We'll do second.
I'll I'll take first with you if you don't mind.
I totally mind, Pez.
Okay.
That is fine.
Woo.
I'll take last and a half.
Last and a half.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm just like last and a half. I'm like, wait, what?
Sorry, there are screaming children in the background. I'll take the last one as well.
We can just say that they are creatures in the distance that are screaming and at each other as the nighttime brawls commence.
Compies.
Zombies. Oh shit.
Big
That's
ones.
huge.
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 Yeah.
Okay. So you all hunker down for the evening. Those of you on first watch, make a perception check.
Your
First roll of the night.
perception.
Perceive like your life depends on
Oh. There, see
Ooh.
shit.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm
I got
blind
a
as a bat.
6.
I got a 7.
Okay, so as the three of you bed down for the evening, Pez and Vanera are fairly distracted. They feel
pretty.
they feel somewhat somewhat more at ease now that there's actually noise and it's not just the dead silent eeriness of your last 3 or 4 days in Drybell, and you begin discussing future plans, like excited to see Canlin, what you're gonna do in the town, what maybe is happening past that, and in those conversations,
I said my wife.
Your wife? You barely even know her.
I've met
You
her
can't-
family.
I mean, that is
It's
true,
official
but
now.
that's not how wife and people works.
You don't know. Are you married?
Well, shit, you right. I don't know. Hamburger, do you know?
That sounds very confident. I agree with whatever you said, Hamburger. Hamburger obviously knows. All I have to do is present her with pocket bacon, and then we'll be just fine. We will be good.
Oh, you're phasing out of reality again.
I know.
Blink spell.
I'm used to this, I guess. Oop, there you are. Hello.
You're fine.
I'm just worried about Hamburger. He's very skittish whenever people disappear.
he's like backed into the chair. So you distract yourselves with idle chit chat about what the future holds, and the evening goes with relative quietness, considering that you can now hear insects, the crackling of the fire, low, deep rumblings of some nightlife just a short ways off, maybe passing by, giving your campsite a bit of a wide berth with the flickering light. Partway through the night, you hear a somewhat disturbing trill that isn't usually associated with a plant eater, but sit there for a while. You don't hear anything getting close. Evening passes without much incident. Is there anything else you would like to discuss during your or do during your watches?
I'm gonna eat a bug.
Just she's gonna look at him.
Make,
Are you just gonna
make
find a
dexterity
bug under a
check,
rock?
actually.
Wait, what? Make a what?
Make a dexterity check.
Oh, dexterity.
All I can imagine is Pez just looking down at a bug and looking at Veneeric. You can eat that.
We need a bug check button. Roll for bug checks.
Is that a check? Well, that was 24.
Oh shit!
24. Pez, Mr. Miyagi's a moth, and just, and then it's like,
You want one? You look confused. I can get you one.
No, I'm okay.
They're good eating.
No.
Okay.
You can keep them.
I mean, how do you think I look so spindly? So much protein.
You need a balanced diet. You need to eat a leaf or something.
A leaf?
A leaf.
I ain't eating no motherfucking TREESTARS. That was just for you.
great, you broke her.
It took me a moment to get that reference.
Motherfucking
Holy
tree
shit.
stars!
That is the session. That is the title.
My motherfucking tree stars!
Motherfucking tree stars.
Motherfucking tree stars!
Love it. We're not even 10 minutes into the actual session, and I have the title already. This is great.
When we get somewhere that has and offers like salad, we're getting you some, because this whole just bug eating thing is concerning.
Could I sprinkle some bugs on it?
Ew.
croutons.
I've heard mealworms are very, very protein packed. So, yes.
Oh,
All right. I'll try some leaf cereal, I guess.
Salad.
Salad. Okay.
Yes, salad.
Getting fancy up in here.
I know.
Yeah.
We're progressing.
Do I need to like lift my pinky or my tail while I eat this salad?
His tail just goes.
No. No.
You know, maybe that's something you can teach me. How to be more civilized, I guess. I mean, you seem more civilized than me, being a little country lizard.
I think this is a job for Kasumi.
Fair enough.
She's shaking her head.
You're so fucked. And I'm not talking about Pez.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Ah, the puns. There they are.
Ah, the puns.
She's gonna wake up and literally hurl Pez at Kasumi. Deal with it.
Gently caress your hamburger and throw like torpedo.
Okay, so your evening passes with relative quiet. Odd discussions were had, which completely distracts you from your actual job of keeping watch.
Ooh, firefly.
It is time for the
Ooh,
second
dragon.
watch.
Zahn is just sprawled over the Deinonychus.
It is very interesting. While you two were having this conversation, Zahn was basically asleep right beside you, laying against his Deinonychus. And just out.
I'm gonna go kick his foot. Gently. To wake him up.
With a knife.
No, no! Not with a knife. No.
Odin sleep.
Juniper stands up, says, well, time to wake up Zahn. She walks to his feet. You hear a shink.
Hey, sleep.
Time to harvest the toe beans.
Those are my beans.
Oh God.
The
Maybe
toe
each
beans
one-
are ready for harvest.
What is with you guys tonight?
Don't worry about it.
Dude, I'm working on half a liter of cola right now. Fuck off.
It's 3/4 of the way done.
I'm thirsty and I've had a bad day. Leave me alone.
Gonna make you more dehydrated.
Fuck you.
Don't
You're
worry about
stupid.
it.
You don't know how liquid works.
Don't worry, you metal machine. Liquid just goes through you.
Gozan has woken up from his Odin sleep.
Zahn wakes up from his Valkyrie sleep.
Yes, that too.
Uh,
Blah, Valkyrie sleep.
Pez, Veneer, are you two going for a tent? Are you sleeping outside?
Tant.
Yeah, are you guys going to a tent together?
I didn't say together.
Tant. Please.
I mean, Hamburger always sleeps with her. I'm just left to dig a hole like Mole from
Damn, Hamburger
Atlantis.
gets more action than Pez. God.
So the two of you settle down for sleep. Zahn,
I
it
don't
is
have
your
my soundboard
shift.
here.
Brick, you will join him shortly. Is there anything you wish to do for your night shift, your night watch?
I need to wait for Brick to wake up again.
Brick, speaking of which, would you describe how you powered down this evening? Are you in a chair? Did you just like T-pose onto the ground again?
I think he just T-poses onto the ground again.
Okay. So Brick is laying in the dirt. You're sitting up with your Deinonychus. The fire's still crackling. You have to throw an extra bit of wood in there to keep it going. But
I'm
like
not
the
gonna
others-
lie.
Mhm.
Oops, sorry. Next time when I learn the spell Earthquake and Brick is T-posed into the ground, that is how I am going to wake his ass up. So yes, adding fuel to the fire.
Is there anything you would like to do for your solo portion of your watch?
I'm going to brush my Deinonychus.
Okay. Also, roll a perception check just to kind of get a vibe of the evening.
17 plus 8. 25.
Your ears are hypersensitive this evening, especially considering, like I previously stated, how quiet it was before. You'd almost gotten used to the silence, and now your ears are just twitching constantly as crickets and calls from the sky ring out over miles and miles of distance. Deep low rumbles of herbivores that are snoring off in the distance. You hear everything. You're pretty sure you
beautiful.
heard a toot from Brick. It was a little like, "Toot."
I expected to sound like a tuba for some strange reason.
I said a little one, just a little one.
Womp,
Boom,
womp.
boom, 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 boom.
So partway through your watch,
Unhinged.
you're able to keep relatively decent time. You know how long it takes for a log to burn in the fire, so and you just toss a fresh one on. So half your watch goes by. You think, time to wake up the youngin'. What do you do?
One second, let me see what's in my bag.
Oh God.
Does being asleep put you at disadvantage for certain things?
Yes.
I want to try to use the Wand of Smiles to wake him up.
It's totally gonna be like you walk over and I'm just already wide awake, but I'm gonna allow this.
Okay. Yeah, he is technically asleep, so you would have advantage on the casting.
Well, I guess it's not. It's like he has to make a charisma saving throw. So would that be a
So then
disadvantage?
he would have a disadvantage on it.
Brick! Make the roll, please, sir.
I'm technically still aware of what's happening around me, so I just see
Well,
Zahn walk over, grab.
You
What?
were laying. Actually,
I can still hear and see.
however, you were technically prone, which means a ranged attack has disadvantage, so it is now a flat roll.
Okay. It's a charisma saving throw. Which I get a +0 to, so 18.
Oh no, he's not smiling. What will we do? So I was about to say the
Brick,
TC saving throw
you're-
for this thing is awful.
it's a gimmick wand.
Oh, I know.
So Brick, you're laying there, and as you're slowly fading back into your more in control, powered up state, you hear a word being spoken, and Zahn is like, and you T-pose out, lift your head, and see him pointing the wand at you.
Father,
Yes.
I really hope that's the Wand of Smiles.
And if it's not, totally it's a wand of smiles. When have I ever used a magic wand? This is my wand. Just pulls out a sword.
The wand of slashing.
It's a wand of imminent doom.
Fair. Brick sits up, kind of
So,
looks around.
Brick, I'm gonna need another thing from you.
It
If
better not
I'm-
involve apple boxes.
No, it's another thing of incense. I'll buy you some more when we get to town.
What for this time?
Don has to ponder for a moment to figure out if he's going to relay what his mother told him. So actually, before I answer that, DM, when I cast the divination spell, am I speaking or is this kind of happening in my head?
Let me look at the spell because it will say if it is verbal, semantic, or materials. Stalling for time as I look for divination. It is verbal, semantic, and material, which means that you are speaking, moving your hands, and using a material.
Stand in the corner.
Pretty much. And you're muttering an incantation as well.
So nothing's crazy, but it's at least saying something.
He may not necessarily understand it because that area of magic is outside of his purview. He would know that you're casting something, but he may not necessarily know what it is.
I will say, even as he's questioning Zahn, he's rummaging through his pack looking for the incense.
I need to test out something. My mother told me some things that I need to figure out if it's 100% true. I'm pretty sure it is because my mother doesn't know it's the first thing about lying, but yes.
Okay.
So you
As he grabs one of the blocks, just hands it over. Tell grandmother I said hi.
Don't copy my accent like that. I will kill you.
Why not?
I am not actually asking her a question. I asked that one last time.
No.
I have
Never
somebody
mind.
else who I need to contact. And, so I was gonna go sit next to the fire and some incense in it.
all right.
Bert's just gonna sit by and watch because this is like, ooh, new magic.
Do you just chuck the whole block in there?
No, actually, I'll take a smoldering ember and put the block in front of me and put the ember on it, so it's just kind of...
Okay, so you have the little block of incense, and you, using a knife or something, you scoop out an ember and you sit it on top, so it starts to kind of burn into the block. So the block is burning. You wiggle your fingers. You say the magic words. You cast the spell.
Boogity boogity boo.
Who are you contacting? What are you saying? What are you asking?
I want to talk to Coyote.
Okay. What is your question?
I would... nice pass. I would like to ask if it's... Hold on, let me go over this in my head for 2 seconds.
Because it is not any question. It is a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days.
So, would this fall into that point? We're asking him if it's worth him coming, or us paying him a visit in the next 7 days if his inventory has changed.
Okay, so you're asking the merchant if his inventory has changed.
Yes,
Well,
and seeing...
I see where you're getting at here.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure how to word it, because that's technically an event that can happen in the next 7 days. It's just one of those, like, 7 days.
That's not quite a question in this purview. You're asking him a question, but
Or an activity.
I guess if you worded it a specific way, you could get an answer if you word it correctly.
He's feeling generous. Know that he will.
Sorry, I'm trying to think about this, because English is not my strongest language.
It's your native
That's
language.
Same difference,
Yeah.
we're fine.
He prefers Klingon.
Yes.
I will seriously speak Klingon.
I know you will.
Kayla, that's not Klingon.
I mean, it's close enough. Same
No,
fandom.
I refuse to let her get away with this tomfoolery.
That's Ponfar.
I guess, hello, Coyote. Will we see you in the next 7 days? And has your inventory changed? Technically, it's an activity, I guess. Visiting him or whatever. Who knows? If it works, works. If it doesn't, whatever.
Okay, so you burn the incense, you cast a spell, and you ask your question. There's a brief moment of pause before you hear a voice that replies, maybe, maybe not. Depends on y'all. Not really. Maybe. Could be. We'll have to see.
Hey, gods. I guess, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's the end of the spell for the most part.
feel the magic bleed out from you into the incense, and the incense that was slowly smoldering completely crumbles underneath the amber.
Well, my theory was correct, and so was my mother. Why she wouldn't be right, but hey. What are you doing over there, Brick?
Doing inventory. I need to know how much incense I have left.
I've only used 2.
I don't need that much. I only need it if I'm going to change Mortar's form. I'm literally looking up how much incense I bought because I can't remember it. For some reason, it's not in my inventory on D&D Beyond because I am a stupid head.
You're not me, and adds everything meticulously with detail.
I am not.
Well, I will go back to brushing my Deinonychus because he is deserved.
Okay. Brick, is there anything else you would like to do during the evening of your watch?
I will say, Brick is going to actually continue to do inventory, taking out all of the magic items that he has that needs attunement. And just kind of like keeping track of everything, double checking equipment because we've used a lot in the past few days. And he's just gonna, while still paying attention, just kind of go through inventory and make sure everything's in order.
Okay. So Zahn, as you're sitting there brushing Fang, you see Brick begin to pull each individual item out of his pack, set it in front of him. He seems to be inspecting them, checking the quality, making piles so that he can keep track of how much of everything that he has. Actually seems like a pretty responsible thing for him to be doing. You're a little proud of him. He's a bit of a dork, but you're proud of him.
Nerd.
But good job.
As the evening
As you say,
wears-
nerd, a random torch just happens to fall.
I said dork. There's
Oh,
a
dork.
difference.
Sorry. As he says dork, a random torch just kind of happens to slip out of his hand and fly in your direction.
Someone's gonna catch. I'm going to attempt to catch it.
Make an attack. Make a dex check. And
So would that
this
be
is
a saving
This
throw?
is a D20 plus your dex modifier.
Oh, okay.
I guess same for me, since it's an impromptu
Well, sorry,
ranged.
no, sorry. Brick, D20 plus your dex modifier. Zahn, dex save.
Oh, dex saving throw?
Yes.
Oh, that's easy.
Apologies. Brain kind of locked up for a second there. I was
It's just a
too
13.
distracted by how stupid this was.
16 plus 3, so 19.
Yeah,
Okay,
he gets
so,
it.
excuse you. Do I need to retitle
Sorry.
the session that I'm the DM again? So,
Old habits die hard.
you are going through your pack. You've accidentally let a torch fly loose, but you put a bit too much of an arc on it, and Zahn is already hyper-focused with his ears. He hears it coming, looks up, down, keeps brushing.
Not hearing a grunt of pain, just slowly behind my shoulder.
Somebody is being naughty.
You're gonna do about it, old man.
I've already beat you in a duel once. Wham!
Or just starts like putting stuff back in his bag.
As Brick is angrily putting things away, Zahn, you have this sense of, I won this round. Nap time!
Vince. I guess I'll go have to wait. So wait, who's doing the third watch against Kasumi?
Kasumi
And Brick.
Since he has
I will go.
completed his long rest.
I will go wake up Kasumi. Carefully, quietly, with tail brushing.
And a knife.
No.
A knife! No!
So you wake up Kasumi, and as Zahn goes and lays back with his Deinonychus, Kasumi, you come out of the tent and you see Brick is just stuffing things angrily into his bag.
Frick, what are you
Yes.
doing?
Nothing.
Are you sure?
Liar.
One of these days, old man.
Ah, okay. No more to be said. And Kasumi goes and shakes his seat, and she kind of, how's the evening been? Uneventful?
As far as I know.
That's good. Um, she's gonna kind of look around for a little bit and remember. Oh, so she's gonna grab in her bag, and she's gonna pull out that little rock that she tied to a string,
Mm-hmm.
and she's just gonna start like fiddling with it again. So basically, Brick, what you're seeing is like she's grabbing, and there's this stone with like the string wrapped around it, and she's just like sitting here, and she's like, God damn it! She's like getting angry, and she's just sitting here trying to swing this string back and forth. It probably looks very bizarre to you, but she's very focused on this stone right now.
Are you okay?
Yes and no. It's not working. And I know why it's not, but I don't know why it's not working. And it's frustrating because we need answers. She just has like this furrowed brow, like she's just very frustrated right now.
You've really never seen Kasumi like this. She's usually very calm, poised, prim proper, and she is not happy.
Is a spell not working?
I guess you could kind of call it a spell. It's more of a communication method, but it's a wig I used to use all the time to get answers to questions that I didn't know and I needed guidance, but it hasn't been working for quite some time now, and it's very frustrating, especially when we're, close to taking on a new task and a new path.
You could always ask Father or Vanera to help if you need answers.
Sumi has like a really deep like sigh. And you can tell it's like out of frustration, and I suppose that they can assist in the meantime.
Father literally just used a spell, I assume, to answer some sort of question. I don't think he liked the answer, though.
Was he talking to himself?
No, he was casting a spell. It was, religious in nature, but there was still arcana.
Yeah. He might have been trying to do something similar. But I know that you are still kind of finding your way. I kind of feel that way too. I used to have a sense of knowing what I was here for, and now it's just not there anymore. We need to find her. And she just sits there and she starts like shuffling through her journal, because I'm doing that.
Good stalling
And
technique. Proud of you.
right. He said her name was Shirahama. We need to find her. Well, not only me, but Nira does. I feel like I'll feel better. Hopefully.
You need answers.
Yes. I need answers on a lot of things, unfortunately. It'll be interesting leaving this area. We've become so accustomed to she gestures to like the dinosaurs in the desert. area. It'll be interesting to be away from it.
As
Personally?
she says this and gestures off into the distance, the pair of you see silhouetted against the slowly brightening sky seems like a flock of leather-winged creatures passing by in the distance, perhaps migrating or simply looking for something to eat. They don't seem close or a threat, but it's refreshing to see life.
Personally, I too am very excited to explore. I want to see the places where I was imagined, designed, born.
I quite often forget that you haven't been anywhere else. But here.
I am aware of other places. I have the knowledge that the north has snow. I have the knowledge that the far east has vineyard. That other lands have green where this one only has shades of brown, mostly. But there's a difference between knowing something and knowing something.
Right. You know, descriptions can only get you so far, but actually seeing it and experiencing it, it's a whole nother feeling. And you still have a lot of this area left to explore. My area is nowhere like this. A lot more green. A lot. Less dinosaurs. And she looks over and just trying to find like shade because she almost forgot that she now has a dinosaur companion. She's like looking around for shade.
You glance around real quick and you quickly find her curled up behind your chair. She has followed you.
I mean, they're cute.
As we're having this conversation, you notice Brick has actually been kind of tossing something in his hand. I know you are a close-up fighter, despite being quite squishy.
Well, yeah.
And you like that rapier. Have you ever thought of dual wielding?
You know, to be honest, ever since I've been traveling with our little troop, that has been the most physical altercations I've had to get into, so I have not considered it.
He kind of flips it around so it's right side up, and you can see it's the sword handle that he bought from the merchant, and he puts a spell slot into it, and it activates. I am not a dual wielder, and for all intents and purposes, my axe suits me better.
You see as he activates this, Kasumi, the blade of sorts looks very similar to the arcane fires that you were able to produce yourself. But it's very sleek and looks very much like a rapier blade. And it crackles and sparks from the base of the hilt to roughly the length of a short sword, a saber of... Did you have a particular flame color that you were imbuing this with, Brick?
Blue, like my eyes.
So at the moment it is a blue flame.
So, you're offering this to me.
If you want to try it. If it doesn't work out, you can always return it. but I would rather see a beautiful weapon used than collecting dust in my bag.
I will give it a shot. And she takes it from you very
She-
gingerly.
As you reach out, he kind of holds it back. He's like, although I've never used this, it does have a nice feature that I've always wanted to try. And he kind of walks to the edge of the campsite and holds it in front of him. And he's going to use his action to deactivate it early, causing a bright flash of arcane light in a 10-foot cone that kind of just streaks out almost like a cone of fire. Just
Is Pez within this cone?
no, I pointed it away from the campsite.
Okay, thank you.
So the darkness, while the light is beginning to crest over the horizon as you both have been talking, it's sort of like lightning, but without the boom. It's just a sudden whoosh of light, and you have to really blink a few times as your eyes had to adjust for that and then come back, and everything is super dark for a few minutes as your eyes readjust after the bright flash.
Rick
That's
comes
a
back,
handy trick.
good for getting you out of a tight situation as well. And he flips the handle and holds it towards you.
She's just gonna like very gingerly.
I'm expecting her to Kylo Ren and break. Just like holds it, activates, and stabbing.
She
Thank
can tell
you.
she's a little intimidated by it, but she'll gladly accept it.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
Oh my god.
Zeke must play a new character. So if you would like to transfer or add the spell blade, I believe I called
The
it?
spell sword.
Spell sword.
It is.
To your
It is
Spell
a
Or
rare
I can-
item.
I can actually add it for you real quick since
Okay,
you're on
okay.
your phone. I realize that
Okay.
might be a little tricky.
Yeah.
And I will unequip it from myself.
She's gonna spend the rest of her time meditating. Quietly. But while she's meditating, she's still kinda got like her eyebrows furrowed a little.
Okay.
Angry meditating.
So you are meditating with your rock on a string, I'm assuming, or just meditating.
She's just meditating. She's given up on it for now. She just put it back in her satchel, but
He's angritating.
Okay. Brick, is there anything else that you were doing to finish up your watch?
Brick is just going to kind of sit and watch the sunrise while thinking about how once again he tried to imitate his father as a way of endearment and was rejected, and we'll just kind of sit there and ponder on this.
Okay. So the two of you, while you had a very calm, relatively calm evening, your shift ends with a little bit of muddled disappointment. Brick is kind of annoyed that his father rejected him so harshly. Kasumi is brooding about communicating with her deity. But eventually the sun does reach over the horizon. You are able to see the faint, distant shapes of buildings to the east-northeast from where you are. As the light begins to touch the tips of the tent, the day is yours. How would you all like to proceed?
Leader Cola.
Are you okay?
It's gone.
Yeah, we know. Are you okay?
Oh yes, I am very happy right
I'm a
now.
little
Cut to
tired.
intermission with
A little
Zach
wired.
Cut to intermission with Zach sprinting down the hallway to get to the bathroom.
Yeah, fine till tomorrow.
It's not healthy.
I'm inhuman. Don't worry.
Okay. Potty stories aside, The day is yours. How are you as characters proceeding?
Oh my god.
I will also say during the last bit of watch, Brick was kind of using his telekinetic abilities to float some of his tools around, and you just see him kind of working on kind of fine-tuning something.
I want to help. Because I'm artificer too.
As you all awaken, as the heat of the day begins to creep into your tents, Zon, the light begins to burn through your eyelids enough to wake you up. Kasumi's been idly watching Brick tinker with himself, like meditating, kind of popping an eye open as you hear a clink, and you're just like, nope. Pez, you clamber out of your tent hole thing. I don't really know what the fuck you're doing to sleep anymore. I'm half imagining like that episode of Family Guy with Stewie where he like digs a hole so he can lay on his side, and somehow that's just Pez. But you wake up and you see Brick is floating some tools around. He's working on himself. Vanera, you were also greeted to this sight.
Zon's gonna pat Fang. Yeah. It's time to wake up, big guy.
Say, Brick, how old are you again today?
Damn.
Just Becca in chat.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been looking at chat. What's happening?
Don't worry about it. Answer
Watch
the
Brick do. Brick kind of just cocks his head. You can tell he's like trying to do math in his head or something, and then he just responds, "You know, I don't know. I lost track of days."
Let's not do that again, or else I'll shoot your head off.
Why is Brick's voice so high pitched?
I don't know. I don't like it.
Brick just kind of holds up a finger, readjusts something else. Is this better?
Zon wants to pay attention to exactly where on Brick this is happening.
I too am doing this.
I need both of you to make perception checks.
Oh
This
no!
reminds me of the fucking dog from Up.
Yes.
I only rolled a 12. Too bad it's +8.
I only rolled a natural 20, so
Blam!
25.
So I rolled a non-natural 20 and he got a 20.
Oh, this is backfiring real quick.
So, Pez, your inquisitive mind immediately, Brick, as you're fiddling with your neck doing this, you hear, and Pez is like all fours, like sprinting towards you, gets up and is just like, what is happening? And Zon, because of this, with Brick's hands being in the way and now Pez being in the way, you're not quite able to get a good look. You know it's somewhere here-ish, but you can't get a real good look. So Pez is all up in your business watching you tinker with your throat.
It's like a dog when you have food.
Yes.
Brick just kind of like leans back.
What
next-
you doing?
As he says this, Hamburger from his back.
Hamburger. Is this better?
Yep. I now know secrets.
That was entertaining. Vanera!
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How did you sleep?
Fine. How did you sleep?
I slept quite well. It was very warm and fluffy.
That's good.
Oh, it's very nice. Could you do me a favor, Vanera? I need you to rub your stones, please.
Mmm. Mmm. Mmm.
No, it's just the stone. It's just this thing we use to summon.
Why?
Because I need you to speak to the merchant and see what he
Why?
has. Well, I want to shop, one. And two, I have some other things I need to ask him.
What do you have to ask him?
I need to confirm. Well, I actually already confirmed that from my mother. It seems somebody has been keeping secrets from us, Vanera.
Is that who you were trying to talk to last night? And Kasumi
Oh,
like
I did.
her eye off to the side.
He pretty much told me exactly what I needed to.
You talked to the merchant last night.
Well,
I
funny
thought you were
story.
I thought you were talking to a god.
Yeah, funny story about that. Well, my mother kind of hinted me into a few things. So I asked God a question about shopping and just kind of got an answer.
How are you speaking to the gods?
Oh.
I'm not entirely 100%, 100 mega% accurate, but I'm pretty sure even my stupid brains figured this one out.
So you have questions for the merchant
Yes.
because
Uh-huh.
no.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were about...
because
Because one, I want to see if he has new things, and two, I have some questions that only gods can answer.
Wait, I'm confused here. So let's open this. So you
I'm gonna open this up to the floor, and your suggestions are welcome at any time.
you think that Mr. the Merchant is Mr. the Coyote, the guy up in the stars.
Belpez. I'm gonna pat him on the head. My mother told me he kind of was, and when I asked the god a question about my shopping potential, I got many unfortunate, not exactly what I wanted, but answers.
But I mean, how could the merchant be a god? I thought they were only supposed to live up in the stars.
Not all the
I've
time.
literally told you that I used to interact with my mother, the god.
GM.
Yes.
They don't realize that Coyote and Veneer are like buddy, do they?
Why do you think I told
have
Listen,
no
we
you?
haven't
idea.
connected the dots yet.
I know.
Zahn is connecting the dots as is.
Zahn,
Yes.
you could have
Oh,
just
yes.
asked.
Well, as I didn't want to pry too much. And to be honest with you, he kind of rubbed me as
Choose your words carefully.
godly. Kind of reminded me of my mother in a different way, but it's kind of rude to normally ask that question to somebody's face.
Kasumi, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna explain to Pez that Shunshay quite often makes visits to her shrine that we have
Really?
amongst the people. It's not super often. It's usually on
But it's only
festivals.
the shrine, she doesn't go and visit people?
Eh,
Would you
Right
like
now,
me to
she's
ask
not
her to
quite
pay you a
happy.
visit?
how are you talking to the gods? She just like now looks angry.
Am I not supposed to be able to talk to the gods?
Just
Like,
leans
how
over to
are-
Kasumi. Told you.
How are you doing it? She like points at you.
Zon's just
He
gonna
seems
stand there.
Pretty fucking irate.
It's like Zon's just gonna stand there, raise his arms.
Is that what you do to talk to the gods? Hamburger, do it with me.
As
Now-
silly as it sounds, pretty much.
Hamburger is like wings up and is like goose stepping around.
Space people. Here are my words. I would like some pocket bacon, please.
Yes, that's not how. Notices the DM roll. That's not
no.
This is the coyote we're talking about.
As Pez and Hamburger are doing this stupid little dance, waving their fingers, both of you stop mid joke as you hear a yipping laugh in the direction of Lunawind.
So
was
only
that?
they heard that though, not us.
Oh no, all of you heard it, but they stopped their taunting, as it would seem that his question might have been answered.
She's gonna fucking get on her dinosaur and just
Was
start
that what I
laughing
think
and
it was?
just go.
Banana, wait! I need you to rub the stone.
I'm not rubbing any stone for you. Go away.
I think he might already be here.
What was the question, Kasumi?
She's referring to the yipping sound. She's like, "Is that what I think it was?"
Probably.
He's
Most
gonna take
likely.
out the stone for good measure and just like.
Thank
He
you.
doesn't let Zon see her, but.
I'm gonna pay attention to Veneer very intently.
Ow, Brian! Ow!
You look at Kasumi and Brick. Apparently, Veneer doesn't like me today.
Kasumi is very angrily gonna stomp off and grab her dino, and she's stepped away from the group for a second.
Apparently, I pissed everyone off today. I have no idea. Usually, I do it by doing dumb things, according to people. I think they're perfectly logical, but whatever.
So, Kasumi seems
Rick just kind of stands there
frustrated.
with his arm.
Kasumi seems frustrated as Pez apparently got a reaction from Coyote. Zon has been talking to deities. Venera's hopped up onto Kiwi. Kasumi walks over to the pocket campsite, kind of kicks it with the toe, says the word, the campsite just back into it, slings it over his shoulder, saddles up onto Shade, just...
Because Zon's gonna get on Fang and right next to Kasumi. Do you need me to help you talk to somebody?
I don't want to talk about it. It's just the nose in the ear.
Oh, that must be some of the fancy prim and proper stuff I need to be paying attention to.
But Kasumi, you just said last night that you needed to. Never mind.
She just stops.
Pez.
Expression drops.
The normal high shoulders, just, you see a visible...
Well, if you ever need any help, I'm here. I've always been to help. Guess I'm just gonna ride over here by myself. Go over here.
You get a couple slow blinks.
I didn't even do anything. People being mean to me today. Whatever.
Rick's gonna get a grin on his face and like click something in his neck again and ride up. He's like, "That's okay, father. I still like you."
What spells do I have in my inventory?
I love that when he goes to check, just brightness.
I'm activating God.
So as Zon thinks of a way
Briss.
to punish Brick, you all start heading towards Lunawind.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do rub the stone for good measure. That wasn't true. I do that.
I heard it. Okay, so you all are heading towards Lunawind. Just wanted to get that kind of clarified, or if you were still like quarreling around the now packed up campsite. Is there anything you're doing to break as you goes on? Is there anybody doing anything for the next few hours as you travel?
Nah, Zon's just gonna make sure he stays plenty far away from people.
Brick is still riding on Juniper, right?
Yeah, no,
Correct.
we're riding tandem still.
So, you spend the next 3.5, 4 hours or so heading towards Lunawind. It's getting closer, closer, closer. I need all of you to make a perception check.
Perception. Disgrace.
Oh.
Ooh.
Almost a natural 20.
21?
21.
21?
Ooh, that's a
20.
good roll.
14 plus 8, so 22.
22.
22.
What?
22.
17.
17. Pez?
13.
13. Ew.
Did you say almost a 20?
Yeah, it was like a 20 and then it rolled to the 8.
Oh, that sucks.
I was expecting it to be like 18, 19, like it was almost 20.
Nah, 13.
That's
so,
almost 20.
Kasumi, you're quite distracted. You're still brooding. Pez, you're just distracted.
Ooh, another bug.
Yeah, you're looking at bugs. You're kind
Look
of
at Brick,
worried
you gonna
about
eat
the
that?
dynamic that just happened at the site. And it's like, oh no, the party's falling apart or whatever. The rest of you, those of you that rolled a 22, I believe that was Brick and Zahn. You two are the first to really get a good look at the city. Veneer, you're very close behind, and they're catching this. The mayor's manor that you had run through before seems to be partially disassembled.
Like, not destroyed, disassembled, intentionally disassembled.
It's a little hard to
is-
see from this distance, but at the very
Enhance.
least, it looks like the roof is gone.
The roof. The roof. The
Heck of a
roof is
party.
gone.
All I'm gonna say is, if any of you bastards says this was my fault, I'm gonna be very angry.
It probably was.
Look at
Not
this
gonna
bug
be
that I
put
found.
more distance between him and everyone else.
Zahn digs his heels into the side of Fang, and you hear, and he starts trotting off faster ahead of the group. So as you all get even closer, the rest of you begin to get this more into view, and you get closer and closer, and you see that all that seems to remain is the bottom floor walls. And there seem to be people currently working at removing even those. Windows have been removed. The doors are no longer there. There's lumber piled up all around the work site. And even this early in the morning, it seems to be fairly bustling.
You see, that is how you destroy a building, piece by piece, very gently, and without fire. I see that.
Good.
Personal opinion, fire's more fun.
Nobody asked you.
As
Nobody
the
had to.
hostilities begin to arise within the party yet again, you draw up even to the Dragonfly railway station. We are now officially back in the town of Lunawind.
Can Zahn find just a random passerby that looks like they're leaving the city?
Give me just a sec to get some ambiance.
Ambiance.
Are you running ahead towards the mayor's manor? Are you going towards the Dragonfly rail station? Where are you looking for someone?
Anybody walking by. He's not
Okay.
picky.
You ride up and flag down a worker that seems to be walking towards the mayor's manor. He's currently wiping his face with a handkerchief, and he kind of looks up. He's kind of old, seems very wise, maybe not in his prime, but he still can handle what he's working on. He's like, yeah, what can I do for you?
Pardon me, good sir. Can I ask what's happening with the mayor's manor? Was it attacked? Destroyed?
He kind of stops and looks at you, and he's kind of squinting through some thick glasses. He takes them off, wipes them off, puts them on, and really kind of like, oh, y'all's the one that took out that greedy old son bitch. No, we're, as the rest of you are showing up, you hear him speaking with Zahn. We're tearing his shit down. Gonna use it to rebuild that there sheriff's office what burnt down.
Sorry.
Yeah, to elaborate. Hold on 1 second. Wait, so. Oh! Yeah, Zahn realizes he's just really fucking stupid.
And you realize that the mayor's manor being destroyed is technically your fault.
No, not really. No.
Brick is gonna actually come up. Is the basement level still intact?
We ain't quite got to that part yet. It's you don't want to be fucking around with cave systems when there's a whole bunch of lumber above you. We've kind of cleared shit out, but we plan on collapsing that there tunnel, because not only that, it's underneath the town, and we don't want no sinkholes, you know?
Fair enough. And Brick's gonna hop off the dinosaur, may I? As he kind of gestures to the construction site.
I mean, if y'all wants to help, I ain't gonna say no. Come on now. And he kind of pats his hand against you. It's like, ooh, man, you built like a rock. You were definitely gonna be helping out here today. Let's go.
I have no problem helping out, but I also need to retrieve something from the basement level.
I mean, if it's still there, I suppose you're welcome to it.
Brick's gonna head in while also prepping his book and some extra paper.
Okay, so Brick is heading
Where
off
are
to
you
the old
going?
codger.
I have to retrieve some information.
What are the rest of
Oh.
you doing?
I'll go with him.
Okay.
But are we not going to see? We're not going to see our lovely little train station attendant.
I'll catch up. You guys go do what you need to do.
We know where he's going. We all know why we really wanted to come back here so badly. And she looks at Danira.
Yeah, don't you wanna? Come on, let Brick can do Brick things. Come on, you know you want to.
Yeah, she goes.
Oh, okay. I'm just waiting to hear
Just making a
verbal...
stink eye. Sorry.
Okay, so as Brick hops off of Juniper, Pez, you're now alone on top of the Allosaurus. You turn and head back up the road towards the Dragonfly Rail Station. And before you even start to move, you hear a "Wait!" little clap, 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 clap of feet. And you look towards the rail station. There's nothing there. You turn and look behind, and she is sprinting pell-mell up the street towards your group. Like, legs full, just leaving a dust trail behind her. She's hauling ass, hands still flapping in the overlarge jacket. She gets up to you, and she's breathing kind of heavily, and she's just wide-eyed. She's like, "You're alive!"
Not for lack of trying.
Hi.
Hey.
She goes, "Ooh," and she kind of looks down. She, with her jacketed hand, pulls out pocket bacon.
Hamburger leaps to her.
She sort of like covers her face, hand extended, just like defending herself. Hamburger kind of lands on her arm. He's not very heavy, and just starts gnawing at the bacon.
I was gonna say on her arm.
No, Hamburger is attacking the bacon viciously, and she's sort of so caught off guard that she sort of like plops down on her butt and is just like, eh.
Vanilla, now's your chance. Go to her.
Go to her.
Rescue her from the vicious hamburger.
Hamburger. She's gonna hamburger him. Pick him up. Hamburger, please.
He kind of
don't eat the pocket bacon.
He kind of latches on to the bacon like a cat that doesn't want to let go. It's like,
we'll get you more later.
Finally managed to pry Hamburger off and kind of toss him like a chicken. It's like,
she's gonna shake him first.
He still
Manners.
has like mouthful of bacon, like he took all of it.
She's gonna help Canlin up.
Canlin gets up and uses her overlong sleeves to start like clapping her backside to get the dust off of her and everything. Whew. That was a wake-up call.
Where were you at?
Who's getting bacon? She points back to the Tempest Inn.
Oh.
Have things been going okay? Nothing
Amanda's
strange or
mayor,
suspicious.
working on. You can't even really see her fingers, but you kind of see the indents in her sleeve. So she's Amanda's the mayor, working on the new sheriff's place. Don't have one of them yet.
Wait, back up. What was that part about Amanda again?
Oh, pretty much everyone just decided she's the mayor.
Does she still run the inn?
And And she points back to the inn. Over there.
Good. Yeah.
Working on new sheriff's building. Mayor's place coming down. The mine's opened up again. Yeah.
No more trouble in town, right?
Mm-mm.
Good.
Just no one coming from Drybell, and we're just not supposed to send no trains that way. And
Oh, you can go ahead and do that again. They're fine.
Oh, yeah, Drybell.
They're all dead.
oh,
Yes.
Yeah, but Vikil's the thing that did it, so I mean, it's all good now.
Well, I mean, once they're done with the mayor's house, they can just, scoot on back and start rebuilding.
Who's gonna rebuild? It's all dead.
Well, the people are.
Oh.
The buildings are not. The buildings are still there.
Mushrooms.
Say that again.
Mushrooms.
Now come over here, Cannon. Give us all the hugs.
She's able to run up and hug you, Zon, and it's kind of like around the thighs. Vanera, it's kind of just barely above your knees. Pez, it's a
Really?
proper hug for you.
Woo!
Kasumi, you have this kind of dirty little dusty kobold come up and just like full on wrap her arms around your nice clean kimono.
It's fine. She's worth it.
Okay. But she seems genuinely thrilled that you all are still okay.
We're all
Especially
gonna
after the
wife
letter that you've
Canlin.
given her.
Canlin's our wife now, not just mine. Our.
Not sure you want that, so I will let you have her as your wife. She will be a good friend.
You should go talk to Amanda, and like with both hands, like flap, points towards the tavern. I gotta go back and tell people that Drybell's kinda bleh. Or no, not bleh, more yay.
Yes, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. And hey, just between you and me, us kobolds, I think you should be mayor.
No. No. No.
Too much responsibility.
Yeah.
I get that.
I'd
Is
have
this-
to give up my jacket.
Yeah, but you can get a cooler jacket.
I was about to say, technically you wouldn't. You could just get a mayor's jacket, like your jacket.
And a cool hat.
But I have a cool hat. I like this jacket.
And that is a pretty cool hat.
Flap, 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 flap.
Well, she's still our favorite train station attendant.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Aw.
Well, I guess we should go see Amanda.
Hmm.
I wonder.
Okay. I gotta go back to my booth. If you come by again, hamburger ate all my pocket bacon.
We'll get you more.
Hmm.
As how could you let that happen?
Okay.
I mean, Hamburger has a mind of his own.
Okay, goodbye.
Well, let
See
us
you soon.
know if-
Are you? She's already kind of like skipping away. Are you staying tonight?
Yeah, let us know if anything happens, and we'll be your sheriff for the day.
She jumps and does a little twirl, little heel click, like woo! See you tonight at the tavern. She like starts sprinting off back towards her.
Auf Wiedersehen.
I love her so much.
Well, I guess we should go see Amanda.
All right.
This is a very aggressive horse. Calm down.
Nay.
There's one particular beast of burden that is pulling a hefty wagon filled with lumber that's coming from the previous mayor's mansion.
Come, Fang. We need to go to the inn.
So you all head to the Tempest Inn.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I'm headed down below.
Right. So they are heading towards the inn onto Brick. So the old codger's leading you around. He was thinking like, gotta make sure you're okay. But then he kind of looks up, and he's like, "You're fine." So he brings you back to the hidden staircase. You notice that there is nothing in the manor. There's no bookshelves, books, none of the rugs, none of the furniture. It is stripped bare. So he leads you into the now empty master bedroom. The hole in the wall that was there that was covered, all that's gone. It's literally just empty door, stairway. So you head down into the main room. What are you doing?
I'm just looking for the teleportation circle and seeing like how much of it is left, while also looking through the book to be like, okay, I need these symbols for this, and seeing, okay, what's left that I can try to piecemeal some of this together.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
Great. 16?
16. You do your best to look at the sigil, that it was cracked and destroyed, and you kind of circle around it a few times, trying to get the best angle and try to figure out how it's orientated to get the runes that you needed. You're able to get, I'd say, 65-70% of the runes there. You write them all down as best you can that you'd be able to potentially translate later. And you feel like you did okay. You may not have like the exact pinpoint that you need. You can definitely tell that there's part of it that is just missing. The one chunk was absolutely obliterated out of it. It's maybe a wedge about yay big around. There's just gone from the initial destruction.
Right, and it's just probably gravel. There's no way I can like try to puzzle it back together.
Not that blown out piece, no.
Okay. Based off of what I read in the book, knowing like, okay, I need these 4 symbols for the general area, I need these 4 symbols for the continent it's on. Do I see anything that is, okay, so I at least have this whole piece, or is it... Okay.
You have marked it down as best that you can from what you're able to see that's left over. This is going to take you a bit of time to translate and work through, because this is such a new skill for you to try and attempt. It's not going to be immediately clear.
Right. Because the book does not tell me how to translate, it just tells me what I need, because it's a very beginner's book.
Correct.
Okay.
You may be able to decipher some of it and kind of like put 2 and 2 together, but it's going to take you a little while.
Okay. As long as okay, so I got 65 to 70% of the symbols, just not really sure what goes where.
You're not sure
yet.
which of the symbols you have yet.
Got it. Okay.
So, is there anything else that you're doing down in the deep down?
Looking around, is anything changed? I'm guessing most of the stuff has been cleaned out or not even touched.
When you first came down, you did notice that the tunnel that was going through the bottom of the city is partially filled in. At least there's about 10-15 feet or so from that first opening to where there's just rocks, dirt, and that sort of thing. It seems like that part has been closed off to make sure that the town itself is still properly supported. But they haven't touched this area yet because they're still messing with things up above.
Right.
It's a lot easier to get dirt into a hole when there's no floor above it.
Right. Just out of curiosity, now that I'm back in this space and it theoretically would be easier to remember, I'm trying to kind of like Brick is trying to kind of like envision like remembering what happened that day. Like Zon was over here, the rest so and so was here, so and so was here. Like
Sure.
it appeared there. Almost trying to envision what happened. Can he think of anything, any distinctive markers of that face, or anything distinctive that at first, like when it was happening, he didn't notice, but now he's thinking is like, was there anything he could remember that would be significant? Anything he said, any facial feature?
The face that you were remembering was basically a swirling cloud. There was the vague mouth and eyes and maybe a nose, but it was roiling, twisting, swirling smoke. There were no definitive features. It's kind of
And it was a red cloud, yes?
I believe I'd have to go back and check on this, but I believe
Okay.
the cloud itself was black, but the eyes burned a bit red, where the
Okay.
socket should be. It was almost like if you were looking at the front of a car and you're like, "Oh, I see a face in there." That's more what you're seeing, but with smoke. It's not like you could see Zon's features in the smoke or a particular person. It was just a face of sorts.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, he's just kind of look around a little bit more. Double check the symbols, make sure he has everything as accurately as he can make it, and then head back upstairs. Maybe help move anything that looks like they're struggling with, but kind of make excuse that he'll be back later to help, so that he can head to the tavern.
Okay, you come back out of the basement, and you think, I'll be helpful, I'll help move these things, and as you're looking around, there's a lot of very big, strong people. And then you remember, oh, this is the mining town. These dudes move rocks.
Yeah. I just kind of find the old man. I'll be back later. I have business with the mayor.
Yeah, take your time. We still got 4 walls? Floor? I don't know why he fucking looked up, but he's an old guy. Who knows? Yeah, we're going to be at this for quite a bit longer. We're trying to be as careful as possible so we can reuse as much of this. You don't want splitting boards or nothing. So, hope you found what you needed.
With the price of lumber the way that it is.
Not all of it.
Cannot
Word.
afford to use one.
Not all of it, but it's a start.
Yeah, well, at least you tried, I guess. All right, I got shiz to do.
Good day to you, old timer. As he walks away.
Whoop. As you begin walking back into town, you see the rest of your party are just now tying up their mounts outside of the tavern and are beginning to head inside.
Yeah, I will follow.
So, you all head into the tavern, the Tempest Inn, and you see that it's fairly bustling compared to the last time you were there. A lot of people were kind of afraid to come out under the rule of the previous mayor. On top of people eating and drinking and generally getting ready for their day's work, you see a table set aside with a multitude of papers, books, quills, with 2 people sitting behind it. And it's a bit curious because that's not something you generally see in a tavern. But as you're standing there watching, you see one is a dragonborn and the other seems to be a normal human. The dragonborn stands up and goes over to the bar where, as you're following, you see him run up to the familiar albino tiefling, Amanda Tempest. He seems to be asking her a question about something in the book that he brought. They converse real quickly. The dragonborn comes back, sits down, begins scribbling in the book again. It's at this point that you all also notice that the inn has a lot more furniture than it did before, and some of it's pretty nice.
Moving
Wonder
up
where
the
she got all of this.
As you were making this connection, she looks up and sees the four of you standing in the doorway. Because
Your skin really comes to life.
Guten Tag, Herr Fräulein.
You
Hello.
see her face light up. She goes, "Oh my goodness, you're all back." And she seems a little bit harried. Her hair is not quite as pristine. She seems just a little bit frazzled. But she comes out from behind the bar and she runs up to the rest of you, and the other patrons in the tavern see her moving, and they all kind of follow where she's going, see you, and a lot of people start raising their glasses, going like, "Hey!" She comes up, and she is embracing all of you one at a time. "It's so good to see you. I'm so glad you are okay.
Even me? Oh.
Oh.
In all fairness, you have given us quite a bit of work to do. There are other jobs than just working in the mine, so... Well, please. And she looks around and she waves one of her bar maidens over and she points to a table. Standard breakfast, drinks, ales, water, wine, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Water.
That
Yes.
did not sound like Pez.
So she gestures you all to go and sit at the table, and she comes and she joins you. It's not very long before your drinks are brought back, and soon enough the food will arrive. Because, please, tell me. I've heard so many rumors, so many stories. I don't even know where to
Did I
begin.
catch up before we entered? Or am I
As
still coming?
they're sitting down, you
Okay.
come through the door and you're seeing all of this, and your group is sitting at the table, and there is a chair left open for you.
I'll wander on over.
Welcome back.
Mission accomplished, sort of.
you find out?
Wunderbar.
I'll sort of lay my notes out on the table. Well,
Sorry,
There's,
that's not what I
there's
was looking
chicken in
for.
here.
Why is the chicken in here?
Big one.
I clicked the wrong one. Fuck off!
It's a madhouse.
That chicken born over there is looking kind of weird.
Chicken born. Oh.
I lay the notes and symbols I've written down on the table. It's not everything, but it's a start. I at least have a general area, hopefully, for where either we are going to avoid in the future or possibly rain down hellfire.
Wait a minute. You're talking about the evil dude who made me.
That's
Mhm.
correct.
Gives that person some payback.
Some of these symbols were unreadable, some were blasted into oblivion. But I have a good portion of it. I should at least be able to get a general starting area.
Well,
That's good, at least.
rumors are to be believed. I would assume that you are all quite powerful.
What?
Yeah.
That's 9.
You could say that.
It's all Pez.
It's all me.
He did beat me in an arm wrestling contest.
I did. That was a very fascinating
She's-
thing.
She's partway up lifting a glass of water to drink, and she stops and looks at Pez, looks at Brick.
I flex
and
my
raises
twig
a,
arm.
Like, very well.
No, for real.
Leverage.
He has the trophy to prove it.
I do. I think Hamburger ate it though.
You hear a silent, not a silent. You hear a quiet burp from under the table, almost as if on cue from eating Canlin's bacon. Well,
Oh, before I forget, we did want to assure you Yes, we named ourselves after you.
That's flattering. So long as you do not give me or my family's name ill rapport, you are welcome to it.
I do feel a little bit guilty for not consulting you a little bit about this here name. So
Well, I was quite flattered
I
when I heard that the Tempests were the ones to finally take down the Duke.
yeah,
I
the
nearly died.
Duke's bounty.
How much was the Duke's bounty again?
I believe it was 200,000 total.
Okay.
So seeing that we kind of use your namesake, I think that well, I mean, not all of us, but I would like to donate some of the bounty to you, to this inn, since we kind of use your name. But that's just me personally.
She kind of smiles at you and she looks around. While the gesture is appreciated, we are doing quite well.
They got all their gold back.
The gold was
Oh, yeah,
returned to the people's hands. The furnishings were distributed to those who wished to have them. Whatever else was... She kind of looks around. Some of the tables still have a rinky-dink wooden chair. Another one at the same table has very nice, very plush fabric and padding. And her inn is now just a bit of a hodgepodge.
Real quick, you did make sure that none of the furniture was moving and wiggling and growling at you when you were moving it, right?
We did our best.
I thought I gave them the password.
Yes, only a few fingers were lost.
That
The library proved a bit tricky.
place was annoying.
Yes.
Indeed.
It's at this point that the human girl that was sitting at the desk comes up, and she's very smartly dressed in an attire more suited for a man. She has trousers with a long sleeve button down shirt with the sleeves rolled up to the elbows, with a vest over top of it. She goes, Amanda, we got this one more bit of booking that you might need to look at just to make sure that it's going where it needs to. She's like, yes, Amanda, or Maggie, let me see it. And she passes the book over, and as she's reviewing, she goes, this is Maggie, the other one there is John. They are going through the mayor's old notes, manifestos, checking for contacts, who was in his employ. That it's a colossal headache. She checks it, scribbles something down, hands it back. The young girl nods and goes back to her table.
Pleasure to meet you.
Has it revealed any comrades of his that we have not already taken care of?
A few, but they were also ones known to be under the Duke's employ, so of course they are already known.
Under the
Generally
Duke's
wanted.
employ?
Most
But
of the-
she means
most of the
yeah.
bandits in the area were, for lack of a better word, under his rule.
The Duke had a lot under his green thumb.
And now he is dead.
If anyone speaks Dwarvish, you just hear Brick mutter under his breath a string of Dwarvish curses.
I do not.
I did not.
You see Amanda pause for a moment. Language.
Sorry.
Rick, how could you speak with that kind of language in a public place like this?
You don't even know what I said.
All I heard was grunting.
It just occurred to me we should have
Smack him on
interrogated
the-
the Duke.
9. The man must die.
Oh,
And
he's
he
already
did.
dead.
Oh, I'm very well aware.
So, Canlin informed me that you were investigating Drybell. So far as I have heard, no one that has gone there has returned yet. Here are the
And they probably
Tempests.
won't.
They probably, yeah.
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 That
Yeah.
was.
They're
something.
all extremely dead.
Mushrooms.
Oh, except for one. He was quite interesting.
Mushrooms.
Oh yeah, if you see a guys,
Mind
what
Flayer.
was this race again? Mind Flayer. If you see
Illithid.
one that, yeah, all of that, everything they said.
Tall
He's
purple
actually
dude,
quite-
tentacles.
It's quite friendly, even though I still had the urge to want to pop his head like a cork.
A bit loopy. Likes to sink a lot in your brain.
Yeah.
You are all right. You're not suffering from the heat stroke.
I thrive in the heat, lady.
Plus, I don't think you can make this kind of stuff up.
I too was very confused.
Why, this is true. I have not heard of an illithid being south of the mountains in ever.
There are
He's-
more.
To be fair, he's
Yes, there are more.
very old.
Yeah, it's like over 1,000.
he's been there the whole time, though.
Interesting.
Under the ground.
As the conversation reaches this point, one of the bar maidens with a very large tray comes out and gives you all a healthy breakfast. There is eggs, bacon, toast. It's probably some of the best food that you've had in quite a while since you were eating rats.
Hey,
Wait, this is just breakfast, right?
Yes.
never mind.
It's just gonna take a single piece and pop it in his mouth and
Piece
just kind of let it sit.
Piece of
Bacon.
what? Oh, okay.
Well, because I said bacon, eggs, and toast, so piece of.
Sorry. Bacon. He's just gonna like take a single piece of bacon and pop it in his mouth, almost like one of those mint strips you put on your tongue, but it's bacon.
One of all Listerine tabs.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a problem with those. I like to eat them.
Who didn't?
True. Who didn't?
I miss those.
I do too.
They're
So,
still around.
considering
They
that
died
you
in the
all
war.
are back here and safe, but the town is dead, but safe again.
Hmm.
I mean, us.
And possibly has a new tourist attraction.
Yes! It is extremely empty and quiet there. Everything was dead.
And the underground caverns is big. Like,
Well, yeah.
really big.
There's a city down there.
I have a feeling a few scholars would go crazy down there.
And some book learning people.
Sorry, an underground what?
City.
City.
Mhm.
There's a whole city down there.
You might
Well,
want to
part of the
look into
city.
building a better stairwell or ladder system, though. It's
Yeah,
not
a giant
quite
hole.
reliable.
Big old hole.
Just spiral it.
One moment, and she kind of leans around and she kind of snaps her fingers a few times. John, come. And the Dragonborn comes up. He's quite short, very skinny, tailed, or red-scaled Dragonborn with a tail. He's wearing glasses that are very, very thick. He's wearing trousers with, like Maggie, a white button-up shirt, but he has suspenders. He's like, yes, ma'am. I need you to compose a letter to Locust Harbor at once, please. Yes, of course. And he's already got like a book and a pencil, and she's telling him, stop it, you guys are making me laugh. And she recounts what you have told her about no one left in the city, the danger is gone, and that there's an underground city. And she's dictating this out loud.
Oh, don't forget it's about the mind
Yes.
bender man.
Kip is in charge of the city, so what he says goes.
And
Supposedly
And
they
it-
befriended an illithid that's a mind flayer. Yes, a mind flayer. Oh,
And,
gosh.
and some scarecrows.
yeah,
Yes, don't
get-
touch
no,
the
Scarecrow.
minions.
don't touch the scarecrows.
Mm-mm.
Yes, it's very bad of you to. You shouldn't do that.
They will move and kill you.
Okay, no,
Beware of scarecrows.
that is not true, young man.
And who is this to be delivered to, Madam Mayor? Either the governor or perhaps the marshal. They should know what to do. I'll see it delivered at once. He finishes writing it down. He scurries back to the desk.
Say, do you have any lockers in this establishment? Because I have the strange urge to shove someone in a locker.
Listen here, young man.
I don't think we have wardrobes in the rooms.
Hmm.
You guys are bullies.
Get you shoving any fun in a locker, Pez. You will be the
I
next
just want
one.
to point
in
out,
there.
I did a very similar voice for one of the earlier campaigns, and you had the exact reaction.
Oh, I know.
Exact same reaction.
My note is literally his voice is a bit nasally and has a lisp.
Yep, fair enough. Nerd.
It's fun
Yes.
being shoved in
How
lockers.
dare the nerd be in a D&D game? Oh
The
man.
man's got a point.
Yep.
So Amanda looks to you as you're all eating. How long are you here for?
13 years.
It's very specific, Pez.
I am now
I-
sheriff.
Oddly specific.
I will not be here for 13 years. Amanda, as the city, I'm happy to see that it is growing and you are using the mayor's office to rebuild that jails that just so happen to burn down sporadically and by nobody's
she
blame.
holds up a finger and just do not lie to me.
She knows everything.
You are quite lucky that you have done good for the region, or you would be the first inhabitant in that jail.
Ah,
I
that
would
is
many,
love to see that.
many have locked me up. None have been able to hold me. But thank you very much.
I would highly argue against our new candidates for sheriff that you might have a bit of a run for your money.
Ooh,
Oh, I
and you,
welcome that challenge.
who you thinking will be your sheriff?
Is it Canlin?
Is it Canlin? I hope it's Canlin.
Canlin, bless her wee little heart, she would not have the stomach for law enforcement.
GP's the only one to be able to hold me.
We have whittled down potential candidates to 2, and we are going to hold a joint election and grand reopening once the sheriff's office is rebuilt. Should be another couple of months. In the meantime, they will try to prove their worth, gather a following, and we shall see what happens.
Is there anyone that we have bumped into before?
I do not believe so. If memory serves, you only encountered a few of our populace. You may have run into them the nights of celebration, but I do not know that you would remember them.
Very possible.
I don't remember anything.
It's been a while.
So am I to assume you would like rooms for your stay?
Oh, before I forget, we kind of lost track of days underground. What day is it?
Well, this is the morning of the first month of Myos.
First day of Myos?
Someone's birthday's this month, I think. Maybe
Thank
not.
you.
Hey, Brick, how old are you in days?
Let me find out.
Let me remember.
Well, he's looking that up. DM, whose birthday is this month again?
Well, Zahn, you would know for
Yeah.
sure that this is your birthday month.
And what day is that again?
It is the 24th.
And it is the 8th month?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes.
And real fast, how do you spell the name of this month again? Sorry.
M-A-I-O-S.
Thank you.
California.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. Last month was sorry, this one is MIOS.
Okay, so I did spell it right the first time.
Yeah, I didn't realize that I had 2 months that were almost exactly the same with 1 letter difference and pronounced the exact same. I'm probably gonna need to change
Blurry.
You're dumb.
that. I am dumb.
But we still
Aren't
love
we
you.
all?
It
I
is
am
It
now-
is the month of Nepheli.
Ooh.
I am now
Yeah.
36 days old.
Damn, you're old.
You know, I think it might be time to have that there little talk.
Oh, Kasumi already beat you to it.
Not
Oh.
true. You have another 15 days before that
Oh
talk.
shit.
I mean,
yeah.
what?
Kasumi,
You
What?
want to explain
is there something you'd like to tell us that you told Brick about?
What are you talking about?
You
Rick.
know, the birds and
Other-
the eggs.
What?
It's bees.
You
And
you
eggs.
hear a very
Bees and
unladylike
eggs.
snort from Amanda as she hears about the birds and the eggs, and she kind of starts to cough a little bit as was in the middle of taking a drink. She's, I have work to do.
I
You
don't
wanted
get the
to
reference
find me?
anyways.
She excuses herself from the table and
Thank you,
seems
Amanda.
to be subduing laughter as she goes back to her duties.
Duties.
Anyway,
Yes, back to the topic. So, Kasumi.
What?
I was going to change the topic.
No, we're still on this topic.
Oh, yes, we are still on this topic. So, what did Kasumi teach you? I'm genuinely curious.
That
I don't remember.
that you life forms are very disturbed sometimes.
Good band.
I don't remember that being anything to do with birds and bees.
What's with bees? Bees are bugs. You eat bugs.
I don't eat bugs.
You should. It's very
Eating is
healthy.
part of this?
It can be.
I don't understand the reference.
Again, other life forms are strange.
Yes.
He's the only one like me, so.
Again,
Thank
in
goodness.
15 days, we'll have the real talk. The real one.
Well, since
The
we're here,
birds
we're
and
all
I
laughing.
can't wait.
What was that?
And I said, since we're here and all relaxing, what is our next course of action?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Where do
Well,
we want to go?
as far as I know, our next lead is Shirahama.
Mm-hmm.
That is if that is where we want to go to pursue. I think he mentioned that she was last known to be in High Tide.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really quite know where that is. I'm sure we could ask around. It's some sort of port town. A lot of ships.
Ships, port down, water. I'm gonna need to learn how to swim.
Well,
Get you floaties.
don't worry, Pez. I'm on ships all the time. I can help you.
To be
Yeah.
fair, we might not have to go there by the standard route.
What do you
What do
mean?
you mean by that?
I sort of forgot that I made a purchase, and I just happened to stumble across it while I was doing inventory last night. And he pulls out a little stone ring.
Congratulations, you have a rock.
This
Hmm.
is a gateway ring that I bought off our merchant friend.
What does
Okay.
it do?
Yes, please elaborate.
This can take us anywhere. Literally.
Once or
Every 10 days.
But how specific do we have to be?
As long as we know the name or description of a precise location on any plane of existence.
But is it just going to like drop us anywhere in the middle of this town?
Like, are we
Pretty much,
going
yes.
to be on a wall?
It's a port town. What if it drops us in the water?
I can't
Doesn't
swim.
drop us in the location.
Said any
But the
plane
water's
of
in the
existence.
location.
Yeah. Do you not know how to swim?
Water is considered
I don't know how to swim.
part of property lines depending on where you are.
Brick, I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty sure even if you did, you'd still sink.
Probably.
We'll get you floaties too.
That's not gonna help.
I
Big ass
don't think
floaties.
it would help.
But you said any plane of existence, eh?
Yeah, what
Any
does that
plane.
mean? Are there other existences and planes? I don't. Y'all are speaking gobbledygook to me.
So you said we need to know. What? Wait, what did we need to know for that ring to work?
The
Name or
location.
description.
So,
Hmm.
like, let's say, hippopotamously, I say Marigold Farms, the exact place. Will we be able to go there?
Yes. We'll be stuck for 10 days unless we go somewhere else by normal means, but yes.
I like that idea. It's a quick way to get us to a port town. Also, I'm going to need to ask my master some questions because I might actually be able to meet my family.
Also, I love how Ian is scrambling to look up this item. He's like, oh crap.
No, I know exactly what it is. I'm just looking at other stuff while you guys are talking.
Okay.
I'm not needed currently, so I'm like half paying attention.
Fair.
Pez, are you familiar with high tide at all?
DM.
Make a history check. I would say make a history check at disadvantage.
Heck.
Oh,
Am I?
Damn!
Oh, that was a 19. Oh, you ball sack. 7.
Am I? Do I know I
Uh,
died?
Make a history check, Vanera. Pez, as all eyes kind of turn to you for a second, you go, pirates.
Pirates.
Alternatively, if we are not comfortable with going there, it
Yeah.
could be an easy escape.
I have an idea.
I don't know anything.
Is someone feeling like having a fun conversation with a stranger?
Hi,
If
I'm
there's-
Zon. How are you doing? Sorry.
There's alcohol involved. Hell yeah.
Is the like living quarters area of this place pretty full still?
Yeah, the main room, and just to kind of re-describe it to everyone, when you first walk in the door, on your right is a massive stone hearth. The fire is currently not lit, but above it is a massive skull of some carnivore creature. The roof is high and vaulted. There are skulls and heads mounted all over as trophies. To the left inside the door is the bar. Behind it is a door to the kitchen. And to the right of the bar is the door that leads off to the room. So you're currently in the main room, and it seems busy enough, but it also appears to be emptying rather quickly as people are finishing their breakfast and are beginning to move on with the rest of their day's tasks. But there are still a few people there. Amanda is still working behind the counter as well.
We could ask around and use our reputation to hopefully maybe try to get some information out of some of the locals. See if maybe any of them have gone to high tide, know of a good location, safe location to travel to.
To be fair, I don't know if this would be the place for that. If we went to one of the port towns, maybe.
You don't think anyone here has gone to high tide?
We could ask Canlin.
That's just a good
Yeah.
To be
profession.
fair, she kind of sees all of the people that come in off the train.
True.
Hmm.
I'd rather have, at least for safe measures, a safe location in mind when we are trying to cast teleportation-like spells.
To be fair, I understand everyone's concern, and we can alternatively use it as an escape route.
I kind of like that. A kind of like get out of jail free card.
Eh.
Now, do we all have to be thinking the same thing, or is it the caster?
Just me.
Okay, that's good,
Now-
because that could get confusing.
And also, how do we like travel
puff
with you?
marshmallow.
Because like, what if it's just you that goes alone and we're just stuck here? Like, do we all hold hands or?
It creates a giant gate.
So our animals could go through it.
I believe so. Check. 5-foot circular stone portal. So it'd be a tight
so
squeeze
our-
for some of them.
I would fit.
Juniper and Kiwi would not be able to fit. That's like round peg in a square hole.
Round Pez in a square hole.
Yeah, it's up to you guys.
So
I'm all
travel
for it,
the
that's-
old-fashioned way.
I deal with pirates all the time when I was on boats.
There is a choo-choo that goes there, I believe.
Might be nice to relax and travel on a train again.
Depends how long it'll take, but yeah, it's not awful.
Not like we don't have the money to pay for it.
It's very true.
Yeah, my pants are falling down with all the money we have.
DM, quick explanation, kind of clarification.
Okay.
It says the portal opens up and it duplicates the portal that we see on our side wherever we are teleporting to.
Right.
It creates a secondary portal. It also says you can end the spell and close the portal by speaking the ring's command word again as an action while touching it with your hand. Does that mean either side or the side it begins on? Because there's a little text later on that says if the portal remains open for the full duration, the ring returns to normal size and falls into the ground on a random side. So as long as I speak to the command word before the duration is up on either side, it still returns to me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Checking.
We have hopefully the merchant coming to see us. But yeah,
You might know something.
that is also a good question or a good thing. Is that his domain? I don't know if that's his domain.
I mean, he's a merchant. He's traveled all across the area.
We've been in his domain.
Again, I don't know what a domain is. We've been inside his shop, his moving shop, led by dinosaurs. Y'all are just making this man sound mystical.
I am
He's just a
talking.
guy.
I'm talking about what God resides over the port town.
Well, would Brick have that basic knowledge of all the gods stored in him?
You can make a religion check to see if you can pull up said file.
Like,
Can I give him
think of his like
disadvantage?
brick as a fucking clown car, and all the gods are kind of just like shoved in him.
Oh, see, you're thinking that. I'm thinking like Windows 95, like desktop.
Dial-up.
SpongeBob files.
Said religion.
Yeah.
22.
Religion.
22.
Religion.
You know through your own database that Seto, the siren goddess, generally rules over the ocean, and that there, with that particular role, somehow you know that there have been rumors that the Pirate King is somehow in cahoots with her.
Wait,
They're owls.
in cahoots.
Stop.
So if he's always Seto, I wouldn't say evil. Was she more nefarious? As a god?
Nefarious?
Brick?
If memory serves, she's not exactly known for being nice.
She needs good ass kicking is what I'm hearing.
I would say
We're
with
not
that,
gonna fight a
with
god.
that roll of 22, you would remember that she's very vain. She's very prideful. And most people, regardless of which deity they worship, fear her when they are out on the ocean.
Yeah, because her domain is the entire ocean, right?
Yes. Zahn, even you would know this with your
Yeah.
time at sea.
How big is the ocean? I don't really. How big's the water?
Do you want to know in gallons or in liters or?
I'm an
Mlams.
imperialist kobold.
And mlems.
And mlems,
Material
please.
girl.
Material pets.
At least 3 jugs.
Yes.
At least.
That's pretty big. You could drown in that.
You could.
In
yes.
bathtubs.
Oh.
We're Americans. We measure in things anything other than the metric system. 8 bathtubs. At
5
least.
football fields of bathtubs.
Yes.
Speaking of bathtubs, when was the last time you had a bath, Pez? You take dirt baths, don't you, normally?
Yeah. Why do I
Oh.
not smell like the earth?
You do indeed smell like that.
I know I smell glorious.
It may be time to refresh that.
Yes, Pez, we will have to give you a bath.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
I mean,
All
you're
of us, not
You're
just
gonna
you.
have to hold me down. I will bring my weapons. I will slap anyone who tries to get me in water.
Well, wait a minute.
What are you looking at?
I fear that Vanera is looking at something.
Bathe is a one-word command.
Do they have fresh springs in the desert? I don't think
Oh.
they do.
Yeah,
Like
hot
geysers.
springs?
Hot springs?
Or do you just mean like Oasis
hadn't-
Springs?
They had an oasis.
Yeah, I was about to say we already went in one like that.
But they're not very common.
Ooh, when we travel to your area, are we gonna go to like an onsen? Is Pez gonna be embarrassed?
What's an onsen? Because I'm honestly not familiar with what that is.
Bathhouse.
Oh,
Japanese hot spring.
Oh,
Oh, now she's interested.
interesting.
Why is everyone looking at me and their nose doing the weird sniffy sniff thing?
He
Except for
doesn't
Brick.
Smell altogether bad.
Oh no.
He's just dusty.
We need to clear all the dust so you can accumulate more new dust.
Vanera kind of looks at him a second, goes, and you see a little bit of a.
Thank you.
Shoulder just disintegrates into dust.
Falls off.
Vanera, you got quiet again somehow.
Yeah, I know. I was eating ice.
Sorry.
Yep, you're back.
I know I'm back. I was eating ice.
Well, to be honest
Or
with you,
yeah.
getting back to the ring thing, I honestly think taking the rings there wouldn't be a bad idea. And if the coyote knows like a safe place to go there, I don't see why we wouldn't. Or if we can find
Again.
somebody.
If things go sideways, we have 10 days.
I mean, they're pirates. Hi, I'm Zahn. Have you met me before?
we could ask the merchant what he thinks.
Be good.
Yeah, I mean, I like that idea of
I
if
mean, we
Mr.
thought
the
of
Merchant's coming. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because if he's going to tell us, oh no, you don't get to pick the specific location, we're going to walk.
You can fuck. I'll take the train.
Yeah, look, there's a train option.
Yes, there's a train.
Kasumi,
Yes.
what is the thing that gives me life?
Oh God, here we go again.
The thing that gives you life?
Yes.
That weird blue glowing thing in your chest, right?
Magic. I think
That's
I know
all.
magic.
You sure you know
think
magic?
you know magic. It's just like
Oh, even more fancy stuff. Quick, hamburger,
I'm
write
gonna
that
have
down.
to put the SpongeBob on the thumbnail now. That turkey thing. I think you know magic.
We're gonna take all the magic and push it somewhere else.
you are just beginning to learn about magic.
Oh God, I have to resist the urge to be a huge asshole.
Never stopped you before.
I know! Damn it, I'm doing it then. For someone who claims to know so much about magic, you haven't talked to a god yet, have you?
I have talked to Shenshei. Okay? I have.
Uh-huh. And how's that stone working for you?
You're lucky I haven't thrown it at your head yet.
Yes, but then I would have the stone.
Might be more use if I use it as a blunt weapon.
See, now you're thinking correctly.
Violence at the breakfast table.
Listen, this is a normal breakfast for me. If it's not at least one desperate, it's not a good breakfast.
I mean, I'm just happy that there's bacon.
Yes, that is true. This bacon is very good.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. I clicked the wrong thing. I'm sorry.
Well, the part of Vanera will now be played by Zach.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I'm so amazing and I'm so beautiful. All you wish you were as good looking as me.
So yeah, minor hiccup. Once Vanera gets her camera back on, she'll be back where she belongs. But for
Oh,
now,
is it not back on? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You didn't. Sorry, you didn't say
well,
anything.
that was
It
kind of the
wasn't
joke
back
of Zahn taking over the role of Vanera for the rest of the night. That was.
on. Oh no, it was more of a. I didn't realize when I popped back in that it didn't.
Yeah. Now we're back. Now we're good.
Sorry.
Sorry. So you all were still discussing things.
Oh, should we tour the town until the merchant gets here and then figure out a plan once we get the chance to talk to him?
mm-hmm.
Seem
Sure.
agreeable? Everybody seem pretty okay with this?
Yep.
But Veneer, you're being awful quiet for this situation.
That's fine.
This is agreeable. You're alright with this? Alright. That's good. I'm happy to hear that everybody's happy. So much should we do fast?
As you say this, the rest of you see a figure appear behind Zahn. Very dapper, top hat, places his hands on Zahn's shoulders. If y'all want to talk so damn much, why not talk? And that's where we're going to take a break.
Damn you!
Looking D&D memes.
Oh,
What?
Take a break in just a second. I want to see what. That's amazing. See, if you joined the Discord, you would be privy to this particular bit of information that we're all giggling about.
Yes, you would.
Okay,
That's good.
we'll be back in just a few moments. We're gonna go to the bathroom, grab some snacks, and we'll be back very shortly. Yes, I am going to tell this story live.
Ah.
So,
Hmm.
back a little bit early. We were going to give it a little bit more of a break, but this story's too funny to not do. So, we were at a bar. It was myself, Kayla, and Zeke. One of us partook of certain things and was a little bit blitzed.
Drats.
Well, Kayla bought what was called a fishbowl. It's a big blue thing. It had coconut and a bunch of other alcohols in it.
It was so good. It had Swedish fish.
Zeke does not like coconut. He was so far gone that every time, and Kayla, she was a bit of a lightweight at the time, so she drank some of it. She's like, I don't want the rest of it. Like, it's good, but I just don't want it. So she would pass it off to us to help her finish. Well, Zeke is just... And every time Kayla would pass the bowl over, he'd go, ah, and he'd put it back. Every fucking time she pushed the bowl in front of him, he'd, alcohol. Ah, I don't like coconut. So there's that. That's on the
And
internet
then-
forever.
Time.
It happened it happened all night, I feel like, didn't it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Until the
Until
damn
it was
thing was
gone.
empty.
Yeah. No. You like single-handedly helped me finish that.
And I don't even like coconuts.
It's dedication, sir.
Worth it.
So we are back a little bit sooner than I thought that we would be. Everyone seemed to be just ready and jazzed up to go. So, with that little story said, welcome back. We are going to play some more. As we left off, not even 5 minutes ago, the merchant seemed to appear standing behind Zahn, hands on his shoulders. Y'all seem so interested in talking with me. Figured I'd express myself here a little bit quicker than normal. So, y'all want to talk here in this public setting?
I mean,
It's not even going to answer any of these. He's just going to reach back and just start feeling whoever it is, even though he's pretty sure he knows it is, but he's being sarcastic right now. Feel
Would
like
you
I
like-
know this person.
care to join us for some breakfast?
Well, now see, the interesting thing is I'm not technically here.
Where
Are you?
I just start looking around at the table and
I'm currently conducting business elsewhere, but between Vanera's particular summons and our fine, fluffy friend here, and he kind of like squeezes your shoulders a bit, trying to commune with me the other night, figured I'd pop in and see what was so urgent. Good to see y'all are alive, by the way.
Yeah, I'm mad at you. Why did you not know this was happening and warn us?
What? Sorry?
Why did he not warn us about something like this or want to give us a little bit more leeway since this is his kind of fucking area?
Well, now, as much as we would like y'all to believe it, we ain't always all that omnipotent. I mean, if you think about it, I've got a lot of territory that's under my control. It's kind of hard to know every single little teeny bitty in and out of what's going on. And unless it's world threatening, we don't technically have to do shit to help y'all.
Kinda seems like this could have been, possibly a good ending if it was left alone.
Excuse me. Are there more merchants? Cause who is this we that you talking about? I thought it was just you. I'm lost.
Well, I hope y'all can find yourself again, but right now you're sitting in that there chair.
Oh shit, you're right.
Well, one, thank you for getting back to us so quickly. Two, have you upgraded your inventory since we have last spoken? Since I didn't really get an answer from you, as I said a bunch of answers.
Yeah, I thought that there was pretty funny. Unfortunately, no. Y'all bought some of my more interesting pieces. And what with the incident with Drybell getting as out of control as it was, and the whole power structure going all kinds of out of whack, y'all are just causing problems for everybody. Same
What?
speed that you're
Problems?
solving them too.
How? Wait, what?
Y'all do realize that you took out one of the most important people, influential people in this area, and that man's now gone. There's a bit of a power vacuum. Every little piece of scumbag, bandit, trying to claw their way up to the top now to be the next big honcho. It's all thanks to you, 5, 6. Hamburger, didn't forget about you.
Since you travel a lot and probably sell to both sides of the law, do you know some of the names of these here people who are trying to climb up the food chain?
Sure as I do. Mercenary groups knows them all too.
Maybe I should go visit the sheriff's office. Well, wait, hold on. They're rebuilding the sheriff's office.
Yeah, I do in fact wonder why. And he gives on shoulders another little squeeze.
All at random, no relation to the incident.
He burned it down.
You cannot prove this.
Well, in any case, he kind of looks over, finds one of the chairs that's more plush than the others, pulls it across the floor, spins it around, sits down one leg over the other in a kind of cross, steeples his fingers. So, is that all y'all wanted to check with me about? Was my inventory?
I had another question, but I'm not sure I want to ask it in front of everybody.
Everybody, as you mean this here tavern? Or just
Yes,
in front of
that
your
one.
compatriots?
I don't mind my compatriots knowing, but yes, probably in front of everyone wouldn't be a good idea.
Kind of looks around a little bit. Yes. Very well. Snaps his fingers. The whole area around your table goes dark. The sound of the
Oh, that's
tavern, the
fancy.
clinking of glasses. Totally silent.
My eyes grow and glow brighter green.
It still
Well,
feels like you're
we won't-
in the same lighting, but just the sound is gone. You can't see past where your chairs are.
That's a nifty trick.
Comes in handy when you're doing business deals.
So I guess I will ask you, how did you become a god?
How'd you become a bunny?
See, I don't really know a lot about that part. I was kind of found as a little hare, kind of raised by not my own people, which I might just have found out that I might be able to meet my own people if I figure some information out. But that's a story for a different time.
Y'all are weird.
Oh, I'm very weird, but I love every moment of it.
Hold on. Are you accusing here, Mr. the Merchant, of being a god? Well, one of the star people?
Yes, Pez.
It's less an accusation and more just a, yeah, he is.
Guilty as charged. Took y'all
Ammo.
long enough.
Well, my mother kind of told me, you kind of carry an aura like her, but I
Yeah,
don't
you
like those
cheated.
two. Oh no, I used the resource that was available to me.
I knew the entire time. Y'all didn't ask.
You don't like to tell me a lot of things, thank you very much.
You didn't ask.
To be fair, Mr. Coyote, don't you like cheaters?
That's neither here nor there.
What's wrong, Pez?
Breeze, Pez, breeze!
Gods exist.
Yes.
Well, sure
What
we do.
part?
Did I not appear to you and help you find your lovely little companion right there? Y'all don't
I mean,
remember that?
I remember that, but I thought that was just constipation.
I have been called many things in my time. That is by far one of the funniest fucking ones that I've ever heard.
I mean, I ate a lot of bugs that day. I thought I was just going loopy.
Pez, I've told you my mother is Valkyrie.
I thought you were just making jokes.
Why would I joke about that?
We've just blown Pez's mind.
Y'all need to eat more TREESTARS.
Also,
But-
God is a strong word.
We
Unbelievably
prefer-
powerful entities. Yes.
We prefer the word deities.
So how did you
I
become a
prefer-
deity? Do you even remember? Or did you just exist?
It's for me to know, y'all to find out, I suppose. I don't have to tell
Well,
you.
that's well, you don't have to. I was trying to be nice and just ask.
Yeah, you're kind of prying into some man's personal business here.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna ask my mother when I get home, but I just figured since you were here and you were very nice in helping us out, I just figured I'd ask.
I have a very important question before I continue to have a mental breakdown.
He
Fair
doesn't eat bugs.
Well, that was my second question. My first question is, could any person or thing become a god? As I look over at Hamburger.
He sort of slowly follows your eyes. It's like, ugh. Thankfully, no.
Hmm.
Not necessarily. We haven't had, a couple people have tried casting all sort of experimental spells. Usually makes them blow up. That part's kind of funny. But, no, not really. It's just been us. As long as I can even remember.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Great question. Next question.
Okay, so let me be more specific. So the city under Drybells that we went into, did you exist when that city was above ground and not destroyed by mushrooms?
He sort of thinks for a minute. Possible. You kind of lose track as cities pop up and get buried and get burned down, ransacked. Sort of hard to keep them all in track.
They don't have records of you, which is why I'm interested. Or much of anybody, to be honest. Or no, they did. No, yes, they did. I
mean,
think.
It wouldn't be the first time you had a city that completely outlawed other deities and only preferred their own specific religions.
I remember him saying that. They worship the old one, I think.
Old man Kadal? That sounds about right. Some of them can be pretty damn fanatical.
Guessing he's crazy.
Kadal? No.
Huh. Okay.
Seto? Bit of a bitch. Wouldn't call it crazy.
Yeah.
Gambors? He's a special type of crazy.
Yes, but he's a good fighter.
You ain't wrong there.
Oh, I know.
So, my turn for a couple questions.
Sure.
Y'all disrupted quite a bit here in my territory. Where are y'all going? You staying here, cause me more trouble? You
Fine.
gonna go cause issues elsewhere?
Cause them issues. I call them happy little accidents.
There are issues when it's revolved around him.
What do you know about? Is it Seto?
The town? Or
Settle
No.
that bitch?
God, Seto.
We might be
She's-
pissing her off soon.
Yeah.
Well, I would
Hmm.
highly advise against that, especially if you ever plan on being in her domain whatsoever. Follow the rules that the sailors tell you to do aboard their ships, so you stay on their ships. She's very vain. Thinks she's the prettiest damn thing that has graced this planet since it was formed from the cosmos.
well, yeah, that's already a fallacy. That's Valkyrie.
Y'all might want to keep that opinion to yourself when you're out on the water.
I don't openly say it over the water, but
And
it is
you're
true
smart not
nonetheless.
to. That's
Oh,
warning
obviously.
to any of y'all that ain't been out on the water looking at you, Brick.
Um,
Hopefully, she won't take offense to us offing one of her frequent sailors.
Wait, what?
Yes, I'm also confused.
We're going after a pirate.
Doesn't mean we
Yeah.
have to kill them.
Well, that's not necessarily true, but there are like thousands of pirates. Why would one matter?
Rick just
There-
points at Kasumi and Venera.
Yeah, we're looking for stuff for them, like a little mink or something, right?
And a medallion. Hopefully.
So what y'all need to understand about Seto, she only cares about herself. Y'all follow the rules. She don't really care what the hell you do out on her ocean to each other.
Wasn't there something about making offerings to her and just respecting the ocean?
Yes, that is true.
Merchant just nods his head a couple times.
Little off topic. Brick kind of takes the notes out again and turns them and pushes them towards Coyote. Any chance you can read some of that?
What is he looking at?
He's looking at the symbols that he scratched down earlier today.
That there looks like a bit of a teleportation circle. Ain't never really been my strong suit. Got my own forms of travel.
I can see this.
Enough. Worth a shot. He closes his notes and takes them back.
So y'all thinking of going and going after high tide, is it? Or are you just trying to find this person out there on the open ocean?
I
High
think
tide
high
was
tide.
Mm-hmm.
the last location that she was said to be.
Well, ain't y'all got a big old set of balls between the five of you? Going into the Pirate King's den.
It's no king of mine.
Can you tell us anything about this here king of pirates?
Only the rumors that I done here down in Locust Harbor. Apparently he's, how do they phrase it? Some sort of deal is rumored to have been made between the Pirate King and Seto. Kind of allows them to have a bit of an advantage there out on the open ocean.
Hmm.
Now, what that might be, I don't know. That is outside of my area of influence. So in the long run, I don't really give a shit.
Also fair.
So now, out of curiosity, which way y'all going to get there? Way I sees it, you got a couple options, but I'm curious what y'all thinking of doing.
Rick?
Well, we have a possible way in, but probably best reserved for our way out, as I hold up the little ring.
Now, going off of that there assumption, y'all do know that that works better if you've been to the location y'all are trying to zip-zap to. There's a bit of a chance of failure if you're guessing.
Duly noted.
Could you take us there?
Outside of my purview.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly from the maps, we can either get a ship through the Nightly Kingdoms, which I believe offers a safer route, a ship through Locust Harbor, which is a less safe route, or we can go by foot through the Orc Lands.
Let's not do that.
What? Why would you not want to do that?
And let's not go through the Orc lands. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, if we do, I'll be sure to look down.
This is a question for another time.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather go through the Orklands or learn how to swim?
I think swimming might be easier.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards the swimming part.
Wow, you that afraid of orcs?
Anyway, Mr. the Merchant, or should I call you Mr. the Coyote? What should we call you?
When we're here in private company, y'all can call me the merchant coyote, but in people company, stick to the merchant.
I have a kind of personal question. When I lost my family, I was wandering around until I found a kind of purpose. I always felt like I was being watched or followed, and every now and then at night I heard a yipping. Was that you?
Maybe.
Yip yip.
I do
Kinda
try to
freaked
take
out.
care of my own. Some people get a little bit more favor from me, others not so much. Some of them are just straight assholes.
Son.
Excuse me, young lady.
What?
Fist bump.
Well, I need to learn how to swim. We need to find a bathtub. Doesn't have to be that big, because as you can see, I'm not that big.
There wasn't a lake in town, right? It was just dry.
There's a couple wells.
We
Right
don't.
are
We
away.
not throwing Pez down the well.
And hamburger. Pez is down the well?
Sure.
Y'all got any more of them their personal questions for me?
Kirstens.
Questions?
What's your favorite color?
How is Nefelli?
Any recommendations on how to proceed?
Do you like bugs?
Stop it.
To answer these in order, I don't want to answer the first one. I have ideas on the second, and to answer your second one, yes, I do. Back to Brick. I would not, if time is of your essence, I would not recommend Locust Harbor. The safest way from Locust Harbor is to essentially sail all the way around. Y'all don't particularly want to be sailing through the Broken Isles. You'll definitely die or be raided by pirates that way. The other way, y'all kind of risk going through the, un momento, I think I remember the name, but not fully sure. Stalling for time as I clickety-click.
You made the world. You should know the name.
Y'all could try to get yourself through the Tapetal Mountains as you wrap around, but that's also pretty precarious, and it would take y'all a long time. You basically be showing up on Takatari shores and have to sail all the way around that particular continent to get to high tide. So unless y'all want to be at sea for the next couple months, y'all may want to look,
No.
if y'all don't want to be going through the Orklands,
We
y'all got the
could.
Nightly Kingdoms up north.
We could take the portal to closer to. You said Takatari?
Mhm.
Could take the portal there. And. Because I mean. Has Vanera been to Takatari? She has, right?
Probably a few times. Not often.
Not often. Okay. We could always take it there and try and find a ship that way. We wouldn't be able to bring the dinos anyway on the ship.
So what are we gonna have to do with the dinos?
Let's see if Amanda could keep them.
That is true. Also, I can still bring my Kasumi.
True.
But what? Juniper.
Well, we weren't going to be able to take them on the boat anyway.
I thought this was gonna be a big boat.
I don't think sailors are going to want extra mouths to feed, Pez.
I'm not super sure we need to be going to Takatari.
Why is that?
We need to find Shirahama first.
I mean, if you can come up with a better option, I'm not really hearing it. Why we shouldn't?
What was the other port that was mentioned?
Y'all there talking about Hopamia?
Mhm.
It's just
That's
up
one of the
north
Night of the
in
Kingdom.
Night of the Kingdoms.
It's
Yeah,
Night
one of
of
the
the
best damn Navy fleets in the world.
It's the fucking Night of the Kingdoms. I would stomach it.
Well, we may be able to find a fast ship there. If we need to find a ship.
And I'm pretty sure the trains run up that north, right?
Let's say I've been there, haven't I? Since I got arrested and kind of thrown through that area, so I do know what that area looks like. Unfortunately,
And you've raided their coastline before. You're fairly familiar with the coastline of the Night of the Kingdoms.
yes. So I can technically direct us there.
You
That
also
might be
technically might
better.
cause us problems.
No, I've already spent my jail time and walked out of jail. As long as I don't do anything else questionable, they'll be fine. But I make no promises because I am me.
I am me.
You know, this is probably going to sound really strange, but I feel like we would have less problems with Dawn there.
Hold
than
1 second here.
Takatari.
Wait, I don't have a way to make
What
sure
has
this.
happened in Takatari?
Yes, Kasumi is being very, very, very vague, which I was alluding to earlier, and she doesn't want to talk about it.
We are in a nice, safe place where no one else can hear.
Come on, Kasumi. We are among the friends.
She does not wish to say it is fine.
I'm not exactly welcome there right now. At all?
At all.
Yeah.
Were you like banished or something? Did you poop on someone?
Pez, you can't just ask someone if they pooped on someone.
Truly, you can. I kind of want to know the answer to this one, to be completely honest with you.
No, you don't.
Mr. Coyote,
Yes, ma'am.
are you familiar with Miss Shenshay?
Of course I am. She's quite friendly with my dear old sister Nefeli.
She's very friendly. Someone perhaps stole her medallion. From her altar.
Wait a second.
And they thought it was me.
Never
So you have a
mind.
frame.
So basically, how this went, they thought it was me. It was not, by the way.
Disappointing.
But I am not allowed to go back until I can prove otherwise. Because they're not exactly happy. And
I
neither is
mean-
Shenshay.
So Shenshay thinks you stole it as well.
I have been having the worst time reading her lately, and it's very frustrating.
Would you like me to ask her?
You can try.
You're right, I can try. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I can still give it a shot.
I mean,
But all I know
Mhm.
is Shirahama was the one who hired that little jerk that we cornered earlier
Angel.
to frame me. Yes.
Wait, is that the one that I sent home naked?
No.
The one that we killed his friend and had to bring him back to life.
Yes.
Yeah, the little gnome dude.
Yes.
Yeah, I took all of his shit. He was almost naked.
But he was the one that framed me, and she was the one that hired him. So I'm
Kasumi.
hoping she has the medallion.
Mm.
Then we can go back to Takatari. That's fine. But before then, no.
Well, I don't like being framed for things that I didn't do because if goddamn I burned down something, I would be given the credit for it.
Y'all need to stop lying to yourself. It ain't healthy.
Sheriff's office being burnt down is a bit less drastic.
Egregious.
I'm willing to help you redeem yourself and find this creature that Vanera is trying to retrieve.
My mink.
Yes, her mink, that creature.
Mhm.
What is it with this here mink? If you don't mind my asking.
It's just my mink.
Just a
That's
cute little
fine.
animal, kind of like a hamburger right here.
That's right, we are alone and nobody can hear us. Vanera, I have questions.
If you pull his finger, I will leave.
No. Why? No.
Put your hand down.
Bad. Wait. So, Vanera, I have noticed peculiarities with your form.
Me too.
Don't be staring. That's rude.
I wasn't
Yeah,
staring.
Y'all
just-
are rude.
It just so happens that your tail changes and different things kind of poke out from sheets and other things.
Oh, that sounds dirty.
It does sound dirty, but actually it's not. I'm very disappointed in this fact, by the way. Is everything okay with you? Is
Fine.
Oh, I believe so. Something's fine, but what is causing the sudden changes with your self?
She's gonna look at Coyote and be like,
You
"Help!"
just
Like,
gave
just
me.
like gives him.
He's
You,
just looking at his fingernails.
Vanera, you literally just gave me flack for not asking you a question earlier, and now I'm finally asking you a question.
That was about no. That was about the merchant.
Something that was personal that you knew and you would have been happy to share with everybody because it would have, there's more understanding, but.
Not about to oust a god to someone or some people, beings, regardless if they are in my party, my friends.
So it's something a god did to you.
Are you wearing an invisible hat?
Yes.
9. You aren't getting out of
Oh.
this that easy.
You have a hat? I want to see this hat.
No.
Oh.
Because it's invisible.
I'll let you wear my hat. It's a scorpion.
No.
Okay.
Brick, you look like you have something to say.
I'm
What
just
do you
very
have?
confused about how you think she could wear a hat.
Because there was the time where she slept on my tails, and it felt like she was wearing an invisible hat. Like her head stopped there, but it continued, but it didn't.
She's gonna look at Brick.
Rick has a very confused look on his face right now.
Anira, are you sure you don't want to share this? It seems like something that we could help with.
There's nothing to help with.
Then why are you
I'm
so...
not in peril.
I'm confused.
You keep side-eyeing Brick. When the time comes for the party to know something, I will be more than welcome to talk about it. It's not something that we need to worry about at this moment.
Secrets.
Not necessarily secrets. Well, I guess you could call them secrets, but
How
there
does
are
that
other
make a secret?
things. But there are other things that we need to be worrying and focusing on instead of what's going on with my invisible hat.
Like teaching Pez how to swim.
Like, yes, Pez does need to know how to swim.
I can swim in dirt real good.
That won't help you.
Very proud of you.
I can teach you.
Please do.
I'd rather not. Thanks, though.
What the fuck is happening? This is wonderful.
D&D. D&D is
This
what's
feels
happening.
like the scene in Pirates of the Caribbean 3 where they're all pointing guns at each other like,
Just fire the
sounds
guns
like
and none of them work. They're all clogged with water.
No, they're all clogged with dirt.
I do have a jar of dirt in my inventory.
Well, if y'all are done having y'all's little therapy session in here, I do technically have other things that I could be doing.
Well, fine. If you don't want to converse with us, then I suppose you're free to go.
Y'all haven't talked to me in about 5 fucking minutes.
Well, I'm going to
Well,
have one question for you privately after this. It would be very short. But please finish what you were saying, Venera.
I was going to say you didn't even answer my question about how Nepheli is.
Yeah.
I was
Jerk.
so rudely interrupted before. She's doing fine so far as I know.
Well, thank you.
Our
That's
little
all I needed.
message bearer has been quite busy here of late. Yeah, I'm talking to you.
What?
Was there a message that needed to be sent?
Well, y'all gave it to me ages ago, but then you
Well,
really
yes.
got yourself busy off doing your own little heroic doodads.
Is there something else that needed to be completed?
Not at the moment, no.
And why are you complaining?
I ain't complaining. I'm just
It
telling
sure
y'all
sounds-
that the last young lady. You want me to spill the
Is
beans?
this our cue to leave?
Yes, it is our cue to leave. Goodbye, Coyote. It was wonderful for you to have joined us. Thank you for your presence. But be gone.
let us know if there's someone you need to kill.
If I need somebody dead, I'll do it my damn self.
Well, you were just saying. Okay, never.
Last
Fair
little
enough.
bit of advice. Y'all want my opinion?
Mm-hmm.
Safest route's probably gonna be through the north.
If I appreciate the sentiment.
Y'all want more fun, more fighting? Head on straight east.
Because they get mad when I want that.
I know, I was there. Just weighing in my 2 cents.
Orcs.
Y'all's best chances are probably northward. Now, good day. Wish you luck. And I'll catch y'all around. Snaps
luck,
his
business.
fingers. The
And he's
blacksmith is
gone.
gone. The merchant is gone. And the hustle and bustle of the tavern meets your ears again.
Well, seeing as our breakfast got kind of cold, I think we overstayed our welcome here at this booth. It looks like there are other people trying to sit here.
Oddly enough, no one seems to have noticed anything.
I lied.
Yeah, you have to get used to that, Pez. People tend to not be bothered when that kind of stuff happens, when it's around people of this caliber like that.
Look, I just had my smooth cobalt brain blown because gods exist, and Mr. the Merchant is one of them.
Yes.
I mean, odds.
That I am happy to have broadened your horizons Or not I. I can find your horizons have been broadened in general.
Anyway, we need to officially hammer out a plan, whether we're going north or east through Orkland. And again, if y'all want to travel eastward, just be ready for a fight.
I say go to the north. That's just me.
I think it might be our safest option. Safest option.
Brick just looks at Zahn. As much as I would like a good fight, main priority is making sure no one dies. Well, none of us die.
If that is the case, I will try to be on my best behavior while we go through the nightly kingdoms.
When we
I'm
do
sure.
travel up there, are we gonna have to be all fancy? We're gonna have to learn like fancy words, pinkies out, tails out, stuff like
Nine,
that.
just act like a decent human being. Try to uphold all of the laws. Don't break them. Don't pillage anything. Blah, blah, blah.
I'm
Sounds like
good
it's
at
gonna
that.
be tough for you.
I swear by all that is holy, Kasumi, don't even.
I can hold your hand. That'll
Can we odd?
Do you need etiquette lessons?
I have spent more time in the Nightly Kingdoms than all of you combined.
I could teach you a tea ceremony.
You could also teach me a
That
little
could
bit
be
more.
fun.
I would love to learn how to drink dirt juice.
It's like leaf juice, like tree star juice.
Oh, that's your kind of tea. What have I been drinking?
Mud.
You are fun. Dirty motherfucker.
All right, we're back on this. Fine, I'll take a bath.
I will make sure we get plenty of soap.
Soap, what is this?
Exactly.
It is defined as a bar of animal fat.
Is it edible?
No.
No.
I mean,
Technically, yes, but I would highly not suggest it.
Why, does it not taste like bacon?
no. You may burp bubbles.
I love bubbles. Don't like my tummy upset, but I love bubbles.
Amanda! It's gonna...
Oh, I?
Wait. We might need the most biggest bass areas that you have in a lot of soap. Like, a lot of soap.
Flower scented.
If you don't mind, please.
We can certainly get you a tub of sorts to one of the rooms. Should not be a problem.
Thank you very much. Actually, can you make that 2 of them?
Of course.
Why, thank you.
Same room?
Do I
Got
have to
anything
teach
bigger?
Pez how to bathe?
I mean,
Man, I
know
don't
how
think I do. I think enough people have kept secrets from me for today. Vanera, Kasumi, this is on you. I'll take the bath in another room. Thank you very much, Amelia.
I didn't keep secrets.
Yes, that's right, you didn't. Vanera, this one's on you. My apologies, Kasumi. It's a lot of information on my tiny bunny brain.
Smooth brain.
Goes as you want. You still have to bathe the Pez. Good luck with that. That being said, Amanda, may I help you get to the tub? I crave a bath.
For the record, Brick is just headfirst in his notes trying to decipher the symbols.
Okay. Make an Arcana check at disadvantage. The rest of you, what is the plan for the moment? Zahn is going to go take a bath.
Oh, yes.
Bathing indoors is so bizarre.
I know, right? I just love dirt.
There's no springs nearby.
Bath sounds really good now, doesn't it? Even if it's indoors.
You two need it more.
I don't need anything. I want it. But you've been running around in mushrooms and other things as a fox. If anyone's dirty, it's been you.
Excuse me.
You
Kasumi's gonna stand up and she's gonna go into fox form and sit down and just start licking her paws.
Oh,
Yes, because putting the dirt inside you is much better.
It tastes good too.
It's just a few tail flicks.
I'm imagining the condescending cat that's just locking eyes and just like aggressively like, wow.
Yes.
So Kasumi is now in fox form, grooming herself. Zahn is getting himself a bath. Vanera, are you going to help Pez with bathing?
I mean,
There's
with
a
that
conflict
face.
here.
Pez, do you not know how to bathe?
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Pez!
Brick, would you just
Fine!
could you please help Vanera bathe the Pez? Just do what Vanera tells you to do.
It's a group
Busy.
effort.
Not busy
Bathe
enough.
Lizard.
I guess this is a bathhouse, apparently.
It is not. It is an inn. You literally go into one of your rooms. There is a wooden tub filled with water, and there is a bar of soap on the side.
Brick is a bath maiden.
You're so beautiful.
So I'm debating how I want to handle this because on the one hand, I really want to make Pez have to roll to see just how vicious he is, like trying to bathe a dog that doesn't want to be bathed versus
Oh, yeah, I
Vanera
would be
being able to
vicious.
control him.
That's why Brick is going.
Can we just roll off on this? Roll a d20. We
Brick
just
just
keep going
comes in,
back and
grabs him,
forth?
and
Okay, so
Please?
all right, I'm gonna need you guys to have a contested dexterity check
Oh,
or
not strength.
athletics. We're gonna do athletics. Well, because Pez is wet and slippery, and Vanera is just trying to like keep him dunked down. It's like big old wet cat just does not want to be
you'll
there.
bring honor to us all.
And don't forget my frills. My frills will like just Venus
repeated,
flytrap.
like pop up and Vanera just dunks him again.
All I can think of is like the upside down umbrellas that get pulled down.
You know when you have like a sink full of water and you push a bowl that's empty in it?
Drowning.
That's Pez's head in his frills right now. He's just displacing all the water around him.
Just all I can think of is like just frills up and water's in it and him like drowning and then like
Trying to get out of the bath by drinking all the water.
All right, what
Why
were
is
your
it
rolls? What were
spicy?
your rolls?
Is it just a straight athletics check?
Yeah, contested
Athletics or
check.
acrobatics?
I'm gonna say athletics for the time being.
Oh, I have a +0 on that.
Oh, I do too. Okay,
Okay,
you ready?
it's a fair roll.
It's a fair roll.
Oh, damn.
wins.
13.
10.
So it is a bit of a struggle, but Pez, as much as he wants to do this, the feeling of water is just inherently wrong, and he immediately starts to struggle. And Vanera, you're struggling, but you manage to at least dunk him once or twice, so he's fully submerged. He is wet, scales are glistening, he's sputtering, he's hissing at you, he's not happy. Another check.
Now comes the soap.
Oh,
Oh no!
no.
Please roll a 1. Damn.
A 4.
There is now a wet, naked kobold on all fours, skidding around the room with Vanera trying to track him down and get him back in the tub. If any of you are near this door, you hear, Pez! Doosh! Get back here, Pez!
Rick is just like writing in his book, looks up.
I need another check from you guys.
Ooh.
Oh.
Shit. Fuck.
18.
16.
18. You're now chasing him around the room with soap, yelling at him that this is what he needs to use, and he is still just like, no! It is a struggle, and you're not having much success. One more roll.
Oh,
11.
18.
18. You finally get fed up and you like chokehold him back to the tub, dunk him in, grab the soap, put it in his hand, just start showing him like this is what you do. You're forcing him to rub himself and he's just the whole time.
Get in between your toes.
Okay.
Doesn't matter that they're webbed.
Final contested roll.
Everyone looking campaign spoilers.
Fair.
Oh, the poor child.
Oh.
Yes. Oh.
1.
Pez, you grow tired. He rolled a natural 1, by the way.
Yeah.
You've grown tired. The running around has worn you out a little bit, and the look that Vanera is giving you says you better sit the fuck down or there's pain gonna be involved. You're still not happy, but she shows you how it's done. She does some of you, but eventually she just stands up, says, "Finish yourself," leaves the room. Where are the rest of you while this commotion's happening?
Taking a bath.
On the main room.
Go downstairs. I
You're
rolled
the
a
ma-
13 for Arcana.
Okay, so you two are at least in the main room. You see Vanera walk out, and she's just soaked.
Drenched.
She's leaving like plap, plap, plap. Is there anything you want to say to them?
I am not happy. I am not taking bath duty next time. That is going to someone else.
You
Rick just
hear the
thumbs
fox
up.
laugh.
But he is clean. Someone else is teaching him how to swim. That is all.
Plap, 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 plap. Back to her own room.
What did Brick do?
You rolled
Thumbs
a
up.
13.
Thumbs up.
13. You feel like you're getting the hang of it, but you're not certain. Something about it's not quite adding up. Something's not quite making sense from what you're reading in the book. There's some math or orientation that you're not doing right, and you're not sure. Did you just mistranslate the runes? Did you put them in the wrong order based on where the circle was broken? You still got a little bit to figure out about it.
Progress.
Is there anything else you all would like to do throughout the day?
Enjoy my bath.
Take a nap.
I guess I
Confront Brick.
What's up, Pez?
nothing. I was just gonna come downstairs looking fresh, prim, and proper, like standing up straight, like yes, quite.
You are shiny as fuck right now.
If anyone has a light, ah!
Your scales are very shiny and glistening very nicely.
I am a dignified individual.
Oh goodness.
Vanera, you were confronting Brick.
Away from people. Yeah, no, this is not a conversation for other beings to be around.
Is this like a headphones off kind of thing?
Do you want like a private thing, like the other three deafen, or is it just sort of like in character? They're out.
No, let's have them deafen.
Oh.
Okay.
I will
Okay.
wave and point when you guys are good to come back.
We.
Okay, they are deafened. Time for a sidebar.
Rick's
You,
still in his notes.
You come up to Brick, grab him by the elbow, and like
I changed, by the way. I'm no longer soggy.
Grab him by the elbow and you escort him out of the tavern around the corner away from any prying ears. And Brick, she has that look in her eyes that's just like, yes, ma'am.
She's gonna like throw him up against the side of the building. Like, not nice. Like, not like, ooh, sexy throw up, but like just like take his arm and kind of like toss him towards the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How long have you known?
Known what?
Your comment about my quote-unquote invisible hat. What was that about?
You mean how you can't wear a hat because
Can you see this?
most times it sort of fades in and out every now and then. I was very confused for a while. Can they not see it?
No. Rick, they can't. This is not something that normal people can see. Children, maybe, but not normal people.
I'm confused. You
What-
have
What do you think I am? Like race-wise.
Aren't you a tiefling of some sort?
No. No, I'm not.
Again, confused.
Maybe in the past, but not anymore. I am a creature so pure in... Oh, how best to explain? In just the sense of the word pure, that people don't see the horn. Rick, I'm not a tiefling.
So they can't see.
No. They don't see the horn. Apparently Kasumi can feel it, and I suppose you can feel it if you're within vicinity.
So what does everyone else see?
Nothing. I mean, just... nothing.
To be fair, I was going to say something earlier, but it seemed like you didn't want anyone else to know, so I was very confused about what was happening. Like you didn't want to talk about it.
It's hard to explain to people when they find out that they are no longer someone who is considered pure. With you being a creation and being so new to this world, I don't know why it didn't cross my mind that you would be able to see the horn. I guess as a machine, it just didn't make sense for you to have seen it. But normal people cannot. Once they reach a certain threshold in either their lives or their actions, they lose the ability to see a creature that is pure. And with
Dawn
you,
and-
with it going in and out, like, I fear the day that you lose sight of it altogether. Because you're not bad, you're not nefarious, you're not, and I'm not saying that the rest of the party is. God, that's not what I'm saying whatsoever. But knowing now that you see it puts a different perspective on things. And that's not to say that I will ever judge you if one day you do lose the ability to see the horn, but
is so the horn represents
I represent pure, honest goodness in the world. As much as my antics sometimes may counteract that, deep down in my being, it is pure, it is good, and I only wish the best from the people around me. Children have no concept of this. More often than not, children see it. Some adults smattered around here and there also have the ability to see it. But to them, it wouldn't necessarily be something special. I don't think. They would just, like you see it and you don't think anything different. And then you come to realize that the rest of your party does not see it.
To be fair, those of us who can see it don't think it's special because, well, we don't know any better.
Exactly. You don't know any better. And I wouldn't expect you to. Honestly, didn't know that you could see it, so that's not a bad thing. Just surprised me, is all.
I'm a little surprised to hear that there are adults that can see it.
Few and very, very far between. It's not something that comes up as often as you may think.
While I, like you, hope that I won't ever have it disappear fully, it doesn't have to be a terrible thing.
No, and I'm not saying that it is a terrible thing. Just not a conversation I'm ready to have with the rest of them.
Well, to be fair, I think Zon and Kasumi wouldn't have that difficult of a time believing that they're not pure.
I know.
He'll come around.
Not a conversation to have right now, but when I am ready to have everyone sit down and kind of explain the situation, I hope that I can count on you to be by my side for that.
Whether or not I can see it at the time, of course.
Yeah, lean up and kind of kiss him on the cheek and give him a hug.
Well, you have to stretch up a little bit to reach it, but you're able to get a little smooch.
Thank you for
Of
listening.
course.
Now, shall we go back in and see if we can find what these teleportation symbols mean?
Please.
Okay.
Leads them back in.
All right. So the pair of them return into the main area of the tavern. You've all spend most of the day in the tavern, relaxing. Every now and then, a patron will come in, recognize you, come up and thank you, offer to buy you a drink. Is there anything that you wish to do throughout most of the day? I know that Vanera and Brick want to look at the arcane sigils some more. Otherwise, we can fast forward towards the evening.
Sure.
Okay. So, as the evening arrives, the tavern becomes much more lively as the people of the town come in to celebrate. A band arrives and strikes up a lively tune, especially as word comes around that the legendary Tempests have come back to Lunawind. Many people are very eager to seek your favor and thank you for taking care of the mayor, taking care of the duke. And some people even come up and they ask you about the status of Drybell. Some of them had family there. You have to unfortunately break the news that there were no real survivors. Still, they thank you for the information. Those of you that wish to properly drink, it's very rare that you find yourself without some form of drink nearby that was not purchased by someone else. Is there anything that you would wish to do? Huh?
Anytime Brick gets a drink, he just hands it off to Zahn.
I'll take a couple.
A couple. Okay.
After the day, Vanir is just like,
I would like to order a salad.
salad.
Oh yes, with your fancy new look, you have to eat your fancy new dinner.
I feel like I need a monocle.
Don't lie, Pets. It feels good, doesn't it?
It kind of feels nice, smelling like a flower.
Yes. That's
Think of
why
all
I
the
take.
bugs you'll attract.
Good point.
So Pez orders himself a salad. As the order comes by, Amanda leans around the crowd to look over at the table, a bit confused, but she prepares what was ordered. Eventually, your food and drinks are brought to your table. How do you feel about your salad there, Pez?
What should I roll for
I
this?
was going to say, do you want to pull a brick and roll for it?
Yes.
All right. What would be a good roll here? Do we want to...
Survival.
I was going to say Constitution, but I mean, survival's kind of funny. Let's go with that.
Oh
22.
no, he loved it.
Interesting. You see, it's very colorful. I mean, you've had meats and stuff, and it's great. And you look at this, and you're like, Brick tries shit all the time. I may as well. And you go, and it's not the worst thing you've ever tasted. Seems like it might lack a little bit in the substance area, but it's tasty, and you're just like, could do with a couple bugs, but it's not bad.
I could eat some TREESTARS from now on.
That's good. That's good.
So, as the evening begins to wear on and the moderate festivities are happening, there's a sudden burst of flame right above your table, blue in color. And you all stop, smell of sulfur, brimstone. There's a brighter flash of flame. And it's high enough on the table that people are able to see it.
Does the
The
music stop?
stops. The music stops. There's another puff as all eyes turn to your table. The flame becomes brighter, larger, seems to take form.
My
All of a
eyes
sudden,
are hurting.
you see out of the flames as they flicker and fade away, a hovering, very small beholder.
Ew.
The beholder begins to hack and wheeze its eye wide and rolling. And all of a sudden, out of its mouth, you see a black shape. And it's sort of... And with a heavy thud, a black orb lands in the center of your table and farts a little bit.
Did you say fart?
Your chair is doing
Your
the
chair
thing.
is
Chair.
squeaky.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, ruined the moment a bit. The black orb falls heavily onto the table.
Rick starts pushing people back.
The beholder is again looking around at you, begins to hack and wheeze, kind of like a cat that's sick. And eventually, it regurgitates something else. Balled up piece of parchment, wet and slimy, falls onto the table. Begins to wheeze and cough again. And its entire form begins to burn with that same bluish purple flame. And with a final wheeze, its entirety is engulfed, turns to ash, fizzles away into nothingness. The room is deadly silent. And all eyes, there's 20, 30 patrons right now, including Amanda, are all looking at your table.
Rick's gonna activate his spell book and start immediately casting Identify on the contents of the table.
Is it just normal parchment? Is that what it looks like?
At an immediate first glance, the second item that was vomited looks like a balled up piece of parchment. Like someone was writing a letter, just crumpled it up, the kind of thing that you would throw away.
She's gonna...
Rick kind of holds out his hand until he's done casting.
So you may pick an item to identify.
I'll
blanket identify.
Okay, let's do the orb.
The orb. This is the first time since you have learned this spell that your spell comes back with nothing.
She's gonna snatch the parchment.
The parchment is quite gross. It's very slimy. Sort of wet.
Ew.
Take a second. You unfold it. You see that there is writing.
It's gonna like...
What,
on
on
Brick.
Brick's arm?
Brick's arm.
Gonna push the salad away, no longer appetized.
This is all your fault for eating salad, Pez.
So you uncrumple the piece of parchment, and there is writing on it. On it, you see, "Hey there, it's your squiddy friend from the deep, dark cave.
Oh,
Figured.
I was cleaning up the mess we left and found this near where we fought that mushroom bitch. Figured it might be one of you dashing fellows that dropped it. Let me know if you're coming back, and you may have trouble finding the place. Because you will have trouble. Significant trouble. I maybe kinda sorta intentionally caused another cave-in that resealed the tunnel, and it resealed it good. Probably wise to do so anyway. Kick some butt for me. Sincerely, Kiwi."
Rick's gonna use his axe to poke the orb.
The orb rolls around on the table. And now that you're looking at it, you see that the orb has holes all around the exterior that seem to lead down into the center of it. The holes have cracks around them that looks as if the holes were made by force rather than a tool.
I'd like to cast Detect Good and Evil. Or Evil and Good, whatever it is.
Take a moment to cast your spell. Your words, the only ones heard in this large tavern room. You cast a spell, and you get a hint, but it's faint. It's oh so very faint. faint enough that you're not quite sure where it stands.
Does you said it looks broken?
It's a black sphere,
Mm-hmm.
and all around its surface has holes in it.
Holes.
All around it. Sort of like if you imagine a soccer ball and all the black spaces have holes drilled straight through. Sort of like that.
Rick is gonna gingerly reach out and like tap it just to see if anything happens with contact.
Apart from the sound of ting ting from your metal hitting this supposedly other metal object. It seems to just roll from the momentum of your touch.
Pick it up.
Pick it up. It's quite heavy. It's at this point that there's a bit of murmuring in the crowd as Amanda comes up. Is everything all right? What was that?
No idea.
It seems our friend from Drybell sent us something. Thought it was ours, but we don't recognize it.
Is this something we should worry of? As she's looking at the orb in your hand.
Just in case, I'm going to take it outside. As I gingerly try to walk through towards the front door.
crowd parts as you go outside. As soon as you're outside, Amanda turns, claps her hands. There, nothing to worry about. Bards, please. And the bards kind of look at each other, kind of 1, 2, 3, and they begin playing once again. People slowly begin to get back into the mood, trying to push the disturbing image out of their mind, which some people, it's a bit easier. They've been drinking. They're probably just going to wake up in the morning and it's just going to be a drunken fever dream for them. A few of the others are now much quieter, subdued, talking in whispers, glancing at the rest of you that are still inside the tavern.
I go outside with him.
How big are these holes?
By your size, you would not be able to fit your pinky into it. You might be able to get, like, you know, the first joint, but past that first knuckle, stop.
Okay.
Brick, can you put it down on the ground?
Put it down.
Do the rest
Before
of
I do,
you
I try to like
go outside
use
with
the
them,
wind.
or are the three of you staying inside as Veneer goes outside?
I go out.
So follow.
Yeah,
So
we're
before
gonna
I put it down, I try to use like the light from the coming through the window to like try to look in one of the holes.
I
Okay.
wouldn't get your face close to that.
You hold the orb up to the light. I think I clicked the wrong one. I was trying to make the... That is definitely the wrong one.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
But it was just night.
Good morning.
Sorry. I'm
I
just going to
know
lower
it's
the
hard
volume
to
instead.
wake up.
There we go. So
Muffled.
you hold the orb up and you try to peer through the holes. It seems... Make an investigation check, actually.
Oh. 21.
21. You hold the orb up, and as the light shines through, it takes you a few rotations and kind of getting your head at just the right angle. But with it being dark outside, a little bit difficult, but it seems that the holes reach down into a hollow exterior.
Wait, exterior or interior?
Well, you can't have a hollow exterior. It's a hollow interior.
Well, you said exterior. That's why I was curious.
Oh, I meant to say
So-
interior. I'm so sorry.
You're good. That's why I was like,
Yes. The holes
So-
go into the center, and the center appears to be hollow.
So there, it's a. Is this metal or stone? It's metal,
Feels
right?
metal.
So it's a black metal ball with holes that are not natural. They were drilled in somehow into a hollow exterior.
Not so much drilled, but forced. You know what drill holes look like, and these holes have cracks and splinters in them that stretch out from these holes that seem to have been forced through this object.
Does it look like it imploded or exploded? Or were the holes forced inward or outward?
Make an investigation check.
That's not as good. 10.
It's very hard to tell. You don't have a super wide range of knowledge regarding craftsmanship of metals and things of that nature. It's a little tricky to determine if this was something that was man-made or something that happened from an external source. It's very difficult to tell.
Can I try casting mending?
You can certainly try.
I would like to try cast mending to see if something is indeed like broken on it. The spell can physically repair a magic item or construct, but the spell cannot restore magic. So if it is magic, she's just gonna. Can I see, Brick?
I put it on the ground already after I
That's right.
did
That's
my
right.
initial.
She's gonna.
So you very quickly, you're trying to time the end of your spell to the exact moment that you touch it so you can pull yourself back. You tap it, and it wiggles a bit in the dirt, but there doesn't seem to be any physical change to the object.
Well, we can always get a better look at it with this. So I was gonna walk up and cast light on it. Just make the whole thing glow.
The object is more visible at this point.
Maybe you can see in the
Seems to
holes
just be
better.
a dark, somewhat rusted orb.
Anyone want to speak into it?
Rick
I mean-
just kind of kneels down. Hello?
Nothing
Oh,
seems
that
to
didn't work.
happen. You said hello to
How are
an
you-
inanimate object.
Talking to the sphere.
For all I know, it's possessed.
I mean, if it came from Kip, for all we know, it could just be trash.
Just to clarify, when I did my identify spell, it did not come back as non-magical. It just came back as nothing, correct?
You got no reading from it whatsoever.
Magic or non.
Nothing.
Okay. So, according to my spell, this thing literally doesn't exist.
I mean, I'm looking at it right now.
Maybe it's from a different realm.
I am.
Maybe it's so old it just doesn't follow the rules of magic in our time now.
Which begs the question, what would happen if something magical were to hit it?
Oh, that's not something that we do in town.
Yeah, no.
And I mean, you did magic it brighter, which, I mean, ow. First,
Yeah.
you should warn me.
Why
Do
me?
we bring it to Mr. Coyote?
Oh,
Yeah, we already bugged him, and he doesn't seem like he likes to be bothered.
I'm gonna pick it up again. This is probably not gonna work, but it's gotta try everything.
lick it.
I'm going to not. Can I not technically cast a spell, but pour the amount of magic equal to a spell slot into it?
Sure. You can give that a shot.
Okay, I'll pour a first level spell slot into it, just the amount of magic, and we'll say for the heck of it, I'm sacrificing a shield spell. It's
You're using the spell slot no matter which spell you decide to choose.
Well, I didn't know if just in
Oh.
case the type of magic, it's abjuration, which is like the
Got it.
defensive type of magic.
Got it. I see what you're getting at. So you hold the orb in your hand. The rest of you see him doing this, and you see the gem in his palm begin to glow like you've seen him when he's casting a spell. He gets closer, touches it with his fingertips. The spell flares from his palm. The light around you gets brighter, then darker. Brick is just holding the orb. Nothing seems to have
Okay.
changed.
doesn't absorb magic, or at least as I can tell.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe it's an egg. I mean, like we really don't know how Brick came into being. It could be a little baby Brick.
That's not how eggs are. That's...
Look, we'll have this conversation with him later.
I
15
mean-
days.
15 days.
How strong is it? Does it seem like you can't crush it?
I'll just apply pressure.
It does not give at all. It seems like a fairly sturdy metal object.
Can I cast Remove Curse?
You can certainly try.
I would like to try.
Okay. You
She touches it again.
You
take
touched
a
the
moment.
butt.
Brick is holding it out to you. You complete the spell, touch it once more. No apparent change.
There's no writing on it, just cracks. They don't look like any sort of writing.
Nope.
Can you see anything with the light on it now when you look in the holes better than you could before?
I'll look.
Seems the same as you had seen before. It's a little bit clearer now.
You said it was rusted?
There are patches that either seem to be rusted or just has old dirt on it.
I try to clear away some of it.
A genie pops out. No. You rub it, you give it a little bit of a scuffing, and some of the brown seems to flake off.
You said Brick's pinky like barely fit in there. What about Pez? Like, would he be able to fit his hand in there since he's small?
Not your full hand. You might be able to get like a full kobold pinky into it, but the holes are not terribly large.
Well, it doesn't seem
You-
dangerous, at least for the moment. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
That was it. It just doesn't seem dangerous. It just seems like it exists.
Rick, do you mind if I hold on to it?
I actually will just use telekinesis to kind of float it in the air. I mean, if you want it, or if you just want to look at it, not sure what your next idea is.
I mean, I'm not about to throw it away.
I wouldn't put it in the bag of holding.
No, I was going to put it in a pocket. I wasn't going to put it in the bag of holding. She's going to rummage through her pack and see if she has, like, a spare cloth. She's just kind of like, catch it. Kind of tie it off in cloth.
Okay, so you kind of pull
Yeah.
the Orb of Saruman kind of thing.
Literally the same thing I was thinking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, you wrap it up in the cloth, stick it in one of your packs.
Yeah, she's gonna like tie it onto like one of her belts so that it's kind of there.
Okay, there's definitely a lot of weight to it. It's very noticeable. You almost feel a little bit heavy
Lopsided.
on that side. Yeah, but
Okay.
it's the same sort of thing you would expect for an object that weighed that much that you just put onto your belt.
If it's too heavy for you on your thigh, I could wear it as a little backpack.
Is this gonna make you fall over? You're not gonna be able.
I'm strong. I
Put the
beat
backpack on the
Brick.
kid, and it's too heavy, and he just
Falls backwards.
Yeah.
I'm just offering.
You said the holes are pretty thin, right?
Mhm.
Is there a hay bale nearby?
It's kind of late and it's a bit dark. It's a little hard to see.
The orb's provided like a fucking light bulb right now.
Well,
So.
no, the orb is wrapped in a cloth on Venera's belt.
Well, shit.
Well, with the mystery of the orb rattling through your minds, as we have been going for almost 4 hours and I'm starting to see people yawning, you all go to sleep, curious and confused, and wondering why the fuck Kiphack sent it in such a disturbing fashion.
I'm having nightmares about salads.
Your dreams are scattered, confused, but rest eventually finds you. We'll see you all in 2 weeks as we rejoin the party as they begin their adventure further into this wonderful world of mayhem and chaos and salads. So, any closing comments, questions, concerns?
Find us at PAX.
Yeah, if any of you are at PAX East in Boston next weekend,
In
Pez and I will
Boston.
be there in Boston. We're getting some chowder.
Clam chowder.
Mm-hmm.
Chowder, getting some chowder. We will be there.
Well,
so come find
and by
us.
we, she means 2 of them.
I just said Pez and I.
I'm
Yeah,
just
the-
making sure. The we seems like we.
But it
The
is
royal
the
we.
collective we.
Believe me, I would love to be there, but I cannot.
Ditto.
So
We will
final
be at
closing
PAX.
remarks from me. Please join the Discord. We love having
Please.
people around. That's where we
We're so
notify you
fun.
when things are happening.
We're lonely.
And again, if you feel like you want to be generous and help us out, check us out on Coffee. Links should be pretty much everywhere.
Coffee.
Coffee.
If you donate $10, again, I will draw an animal of your choosing, and it'll be really, really bad, but it'll be yours. So
Is that like our forte into NFTs with them not being NFTs?
Now, what
Don't
the heck's
worry.
an NFT?
don't worry about it.
Well, at the moment, we should be playing again in the next 2 weeks. We do have the calendar now, so if anything changes, you can find it there. You can also learn about it through the Discord. Discord, join the Discord. We want more people in the Discord.
Please join us.
Ooga chaka, ooga chaka.
Without further ado, have a good evening, pleasant nightmares. See you the next time we go live. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.